LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron joins the show in his weekly spot at 7:30. Richard Dixon stops by at 8:30. And Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football joins the show at 9 a.m. to talk Saints. We also have our OTB mailbag today, so get your questions into the YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN, or by subscribing to our YouTube channel for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo. What up, y'all? Welcome into this Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. I'm one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, joined by my fellow host of the same equivocal title and power, Jake Hester, and our two best friends and little brothers and young sons, and that is Danny Cardenas and Mario Jerez. And we are very glad to bring you another Off the Bench today. Yes, I have these ridiculous looking Sony Walkman looking headphones on, but I watched American Psycho last night for the first time in a long time, and Patrick Bateman loves Walkman headphones, so I feel like it's a little appropriate for the night that I spent dreaming of murdering people and whether or not it was real or not. Either way, I forgot American Psycho. Very, very good movie. Perfect little Halloween holiday treat there, but it got me hyped about these headphones.
Yeah, listeners, if you haven't seen that, T-Bob is talking about the movie, not just in general.
Yes,
plot of the movie.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is Patrick Bateman, one of the all-time weird and great cinematic characters, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about sports, which can be pretty scary as well at times, and it's pretty scary right now if you're an LSU football fan as the bad news continues to roll in. We will talk to Coach Joe at 7:30 today, which means you will all undoubtedly be yelling at us by 7:35. So I'm looking forward to that, if you can't tell. And then, a little later on, look, we got our guy Nick Underhill coming on. Richard Dixon stopping by the show, OTB Mailbag, all the fine stuff that we do every single Tuesday. But let's kick off today like we do every single day here. Let's dive in to some headlines.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Barbecue Guys, for those who are born to grill. Visit bbqguys.com to learn more.
So I mentioned the bad news continues to roll in. Kayshon Boutte, Ali Gay, Joseph Evans, and Major Burns were all confirmed out for Saturday's tilt against Florida, and the news got worse for the biggest name in that group, as Kayshon Boutte not just out for this Saturday, but now out for the year. When it rains, it pours, right? Kind of shockingly similar to last season's pre-Florida news cycle where Terrace Marshall opted out and you're down to 54 scholarship players. Unfortunately, that was such an insane long odds win last year. I just have no hope that it's going to happen again this Saturday. This, just on paper, this looks like a really bad matchup for LSU, and so it's not getting any better when you're missing multiple starters, including quite literally the best player on your team.
Yeah, I told you yesterday, I was about 5 feet away from Kayshon when he caught that ball, and you could just tell by his reaction that it just seemed season ending with his injury there, just because of the way that he immediately knew something was wrong. It's going to be definitely a big.
Well, his father did say it was not a Achilles, which is great.
Yeah,
So that's very positive news.
The other one that's probably going to hurt is Ali Gay, obviously going against Florida, and they want to run the football. Like, you want to have as many D linemen as possible. Joseph Evans going to be out another week as well. That one hurts. You do get Glenn Logan back, T-Bob, but what can you expect from a big guy that hasn't played in that long? Now, he's played a lot of football, but it's been a long time since he has been in the thick of it. He's been out this entire year so far, missed training camp as well. So I don't know exactly what kind of shape you can expect from Glenn Logan.
Yeah, and even just take this most recent news cycle out of it, right? You are now down Keishawn Butte, Derek Stingley Jr., Andre Anthony. You were talking about the best players and the core leaders on your team. So when it rains, it pours. LSU Ole Miss got a game time. 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Sweet. Now, granted, look, I do. I love watching LSU with that wonderful CBS music in the background, and might as well enjoy it while we can. But Jake, the way this year is going, this just feels like a chance for things to go not that well against Lane Kiffin on a national stage. Not great.
No.
But hey, if you win, then you embarrass them on national stage. That would be awesome.
You hope to get some of those defensive bodies back, obviously, before that contest.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what that offense is. We know how they're going to try to attack you. Obviously, you beat them a year ago. I'm sure, it still leaves a bad taste in their mouth. They felt like they had the better team, and you're able to hold on for victory there at home. So it's an interesting game. It's an interesting choice, but when you look at the rest of the slate, I guess it's not that surprising they chose LSU and Ole Miss.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I haven't looked at the rest of that slate, but I imagine it's bad.
It's real bad.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, every weekend can't be a banger like the last couple. In Monday Night Football last night, Lamar Jackson was incredible. And I mean that like literally, because he set multiple NFL records as the Ravens scored 22 unanswered to get the big overtime win, 31-25 over the Indianapolis Colts. So he threw for a franchise record 442 yards and 4 scores. A 19-point comeback, Jake, was the biggest of his career. And the win was the Ravens' 4th straight. They're now atop the AFC North alone. But here's the NFL records. How about this? First ever QB in league history to complete over 85% of his passes in a 400-yard game. First player in NFL history with 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and 50 yards rushing. And the highest completion percentage in a 40 pass game in NFL history as he goes 37 of 43. Imagine throwing over 40 passes, completing 80% of them, and having over 9 yards per attempt. That don't make no sense. Like normally if you get up that much, you should be about 6-7 yards per attempt because you're doing a lot of dink and dunk. No, these were chunk plays, aggressive throws, and he was hitting all of them all night. Or not all night, but I guess third and fourth quarter on.
This was a really fun game to watch that had really good quarterback play in it. I mean, Lamar Jackson, you just laid it out. He was fantastic. Even after a couple of miscues, like he was able to bounce back and lead his team to victory. Carson Wentz was 25 of 35 for 402 in his own right. I mean, they were going back and forth, and the Ravens were able to overcome the turnovers that they did have. And Blankenship, he had his opportunity, put the game away, wasn't able to do it. I mean, the Colts had every opportunity there. They get the block kick, they get the missed kick, and you can't give a team led by a guy like Lamar Jackson that many chances and expect to win the football game.
Pretty interesting, too, in that it's kind of a direct rebuke of one of the big criticisms of Jackson and the Ravens, which is, could you come back? And obviously there's always questions about Lamar's ceiling as a passer and everything. Well,
all his numbers are so much better passing this year than they've been in his career.
I think he's averaging over 9 yards per attempt on the year, which is, again, my favorite one stat to judge a quarterback's body of work. It's the best stat if you're just looking for one. John Gruden was in the news, took over the news cycle, as he has resigned as head coach of the Raiders, following reports that emails he wrote over a 10-year period included racist, misogynistic, and anti-gay language. In these, he made jokes about the emergence of women as referee, drafting of a gay player, talented players protesting the national anthem. He went after Roger Goodell in a few of these. So interestingly, he got caught up in the Washington football team investigation because a lot of these emails were to former Washington football team president Bruce Allen. In that investigation, Jake, imagine if this is your job. Goodell instructed league executives to look at more than 650,000 emails. 650,000. And, look, the bottom line, at a time when the NFL is really trying to push this idea of inclusion and the NFL is for everyone, no matter when these things were said, you can't have one of your head coaches on the record behind some of these comments. Or not on the record, but you just can't have proof that he said some of these comments. And so, yeah, and now he is out as the Raiders head coach.
Yeah, and we're starting to kind of, hear of what was in the emails. We have not seen the emails just yet, but I think it was pretty telling when you saw like a guy like Booger McFarland, who's one of Gruden's biggest fans.
Yeah.
He talked about what was in the emails and his disappointment in Gruden, and agreed with the move for him to resign, be dismissed, however you want to call it, from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, look, even on top of just the NFL obviously wanting him out after this came to light, you would have had to make up work to do with the players as well, and some guys maybe would have never come back around to you. So what a just wild overnight change for the Las Vegas Raiders. That they've been on this consistent path of improvement. Seems like it's going well, and now it's all blown up. Remember, everything you do online is written in virtual stone. You're using work emails.
Now Rich Bisaccia takes over as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and Rich is a longtime John Gruden assistant. He's been in the NFL for a very long time, one of the most respected special teams coaches out there. He's wanted to be a head coach for a long time, and now he gets the opportunity with a team that's got some talent. I mean, I know they've struggled the last couple of weeks, but this was a team that in the first 3 weeks we were like, okay, is this a contender?
Look, completely different situation, but do you remember when Chuck Pagano got sick and then Bruce Arians came in? And look at what that did for Bruce Arians' coaching career. Another longtime assistant that had never gotten that opportunity. So what'd you say his name was? Bisaccia?
Rich Bisaccia.
Hey, Bisaccia. Good luck, man. And the New Orleans Pelicans preseason wrapped up with a 127-96 loss. Stop me if you heard this before. No Zion, no Ingram. Ingram missed his third straight game with knee soreness. Zion has a right foot fracture that it does not look like he's returning from anytime soon. He hurt it before the Summer League while working out on his own. You are now just 8 days away from the season opener against 76ers, and you're probably not going to have Zion. Poor Willie Green. He never stood a chance. But Zion can only do...
You just got him mad.
I mean, dude.
Mario is mad at you right now.
Not mad, just at least let it start,
Yeah, no, I can't wait for another 0-13 start or whatever it's going to be this year. I don't know, man. Zion and Ingram are everything. I mean, I guess Ingram has a chance of being back. Probably a pretty good chance. He will
Ingram
play.
Should
he
be
will
ready.
Be back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Zion doesn't look good, like you said. He's not even running right now. He's doing ball handling and shooting drills, but he shouldn't miss too much time if he does miss time.
Famous last words. They did say they're going to get some scans today to help him try to do a little more on the practice court. Here's a little interesting little tidbit. So the NFL wants to go to Germany, right? Same way they're in England. We all know that the Germans love American football. Remember, they had 5 teams in Germany alone back in NFL Europe. Well, either in 2022 or 2023, you can expect it to happen. And Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, and Munich were chosen as the 3 finalist cities to win the game. And finally, in the MLB playoffs yesterday, how about it? Chop on, Jay. The Braves take the critical 2-1 series lead with a 3-0 win over the Brewers. Boston advances with a 6-5 win over the Rays. The Giants take a 2-1 lead as well over the Dodgers with the big 1-0 win. And then coming up today, Houston will look to close out the White Sox at 1. The Braves will look to close out the Brewers at 4. And the Giants will look to close out the Dodgers at 8.
Yeah, Jock Peterson. Remember when Jock Peterson was traded
from
the Cubs to the Braves, and you and Hunt and just had a little bit of fun, like, oh, Jock Peterson, that's the savior.
Yeah.
The Braves weren't in first place yet. Jock Peterson hit that 3-run home run, by the way, for the 3-0 victory. Also hit a home run in Game 1. So,
It looks like I can't hold your jock. I was wrong to go after you.
Try to tell y'all.
You go, Jock Peterson.
No, but something we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, the Dodgers having to play in the wild card game, and they had the second best record in Major League Baseball, and they are 1 game away from elimination now because they had to play the team with the best record in baseball in the first round.
Yeah. You hate to see it.
No,
the team
you
that
don't.
just outspent everyone and built their roster in an unfair manner, getting knocked out in the first round. How disappointing. All right. When we get back, wrapping up headlines, we'll talk about the LSU news cycle from yesterday. To kind of discuss these injuries, what it means, kind of the matchup with Florida. And then we got Coach O coming up at 7:30. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
If you were born to grill, you have to go to Barbecue Guys for all your grilling and outdoor living needs. With the largest selection of top grills and outdoor products and best-in-class customer service, Barbecue Guys has it all. Visit bbqguys.com. That's bbqguys.com. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All Star. No. I'm like Ron Burgundy here. It says All Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. One of the core sponsors of Off the Bench. If you love Off the Bench, then you love All Star Toyota, right? So you might as well kick the tires, get it, and go see what you can get for you and your family, whatever your new vehicle purchasing needs are. I don't care if you want to buy brand new, like a 2021, maybe you want a 2020, something with a little bit better deal. Maybe you want a straight up Toyota certified used vehicle. Well, you'll still get Toyota Care warranties that you normally only get a new car purchase through All-Star Toyota. And again, if you just want to rent for the weekend, they are cheaper, far cheaper than your traditional rental companies. So go check out the selection day at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
I don't have anything punny like T-Bob, but I can tell you All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com is the site. Now is the perfect time to trade in and get you a new vehicle. So many different things to choose from. You can see them all online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Thanks, you're ready. Yardbirds up. Veggies in the window.
Barbecue Guys, born to grill.
Pops, how many steaks you want?
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. We'll be talking Saints as they enter their bye week and what things look like at Alec Box Stadium over the weekend. Noon to 2 weekdays, Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's going on, yo? Welcome back to OTB. Okay, my mic's on. Sorry. New headphones here. Nice headphones. Shout out PreSonus, who Baton Rouge-based audio company actually built our new podcast room over here, and it's right on the edge of being done, and the equipment is fantastic.
Nice.
So shout out PreSonus. Excited to get in there, be in there later today, recording the LSU Football Podcast. Great job. Y'all got pregame in the SEC coming out today?
We are recording a little bit of the pre-stuff today, and then we've got a big guest coming tomorrow.
Okay. Be on the lookout for that. A little mystery big guest. Could that mystery guest play wide receiver? Could he be wide receiver one?
I don't think he could.
Okay.
I don't think he could. He is a football fan, not a football player.
Oh, okay. Now I'm really intrigued. But let's focus here. Again, like we said during headlines, when it rains, it pours, right? Just in case your LSU football spirit wasn't already feeling like it might be broken, now everyone's getting hurt, including the one guy that couldn't get hurt in Kayshon Boutte. When you're talking about Boutte, again, you're talking about someone that had, I didn't realize this. Now this came at the end of the Kentucky game, but he had tied Jarvis Landry and Dwayne Bowe for the most touchdowns most games with a receiving touchdown in a row. He had done that 7 games in a row. And just look at the stats and then look at the drop-off and understand what an incredible loss this is to LSU. Kayshon Boutte on the year had 38 catches, 509 yards, 9 touchdowns. Jack Besh is your next leading receiver. He has 272 yards and 1 touchdown. That is a stark drop-off there, obviously.
And even when we were talking about, the Ole Miss game and what time that game's going to be played this year, I mean, remember, it was Kayshon last year during the Florida game, during the Ole Miss game. He was the one that stood tall and stood out. And, I mean, he's been a key piece of what LSU's been doing for a while now, and he's been the go-to target. Teams know he's getting the ball. They play bracket coverage on him, and he still has been able to get his catches, get his yards, and get his touchdowns. I mean, he has been so key for this LSU team and key for Max Johnson. They certainly have a relationship that showed last year, and they had this chemistry with each other. This one, of all the injuries, and you've got some big ones, this one's going to be the hardest to replace, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you maybe like the more optimistic will be out there saying like, oh well, look, last year you lost Terrace and Kayshon didn't really have any numbers at the time, and then he absolutely exploded. And like, sure, like and really that's almost what I'm about to say, Jake, doesn't just apply to the Kayshon situation. It kind of applies to the LSU Florida game as a whole, in that sure, a lot of the kind of storylines and trends entering this game are shockingly similar to last year, right? A team beset by absences and injuries and getting really low on numbers, a team as low on morale as it has ever been, a Florida team that looks markedly better, your number one target and best offensive weapon basically being lost for the season the week before the game. So, like, very similar in a lot of ways, but I don't expect, or it would be a very long odd shot that somebody would rise in the same way that Boutte did last year. I just don't know if that's possible, right? And in that same vein, I don't know that I see LSU being able and like pulling a rabbit out of a hat for a second year in a row. Because even last year's game, which was awesome, one of my favorite games I've ever watched, and I mean that literally, like one of my favorite games I've ever watched. I want to say, like a lot of the analytic kind of stuff, like you had like a 2%, 3%, like you had no right winning that game basically, but you did, and that's great. But it's just I don't sit here and expect it to happen again.
It was a game that had a couple of things go LSU's way,
yeah,
for sure. That was one of the most fun games I've ever had watching. I started watching it at home, drove down to the studio in New Orleans, was listening to it on the radio, and then once I got there, Scott Shanley and Vic Howe, we were about to do the CST show, and we were like sitting around this old school like 18-inch TV, one that had the huge back on it that's hanging up in the CST offices, and no shot you could see if the kick actually went in there. So it was a fun game to watch. Obviously, this is a different game, 2 different teams. Florida's a hard team to figure out. They have lost 2 games on the year. They've had some ups. They've had some downs. They kind of go as their quarterback play goes with Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson. Now, one of the things that does make me nervous because they are struggling at the receiver position. Justin Shorter, the Penn State transfer, has not played well. Trent Whitmore has not played well. Jacob Copeland's been up and down, but they can run the football.
Yeah.
Damon Pierce and Malik Davis are very solid running backs. I kind of compare them to what you played last week. Not as good as Christopher Rodriguez, but they are up there. And they are backs, T, that are going to – they're going to take what the play gives them, right? I mean, they're going to be guys that press the hole. If there's a gap, they're going to take it. They're not trying to bounce everything, hit home runs, dancing in the backfield. They are coming downhill. Last week, 4.4 yards before contact for Kentucky.
Oh, sweet.
It was even more for Chris Rodriguez. He had almost 6 yards before he was contacted. Yeah. So you got two backs coming downhill, and you're not doing a good job of creating a line of scrimmage that gives you the advantages. Could be a long one.
Yeah, and you mentioned the increased rushing attack from Florida, and I think that's very interesting, Jake, because, look, a lot of coaches talk the talk as far as customizing their attack to their personnel and everything, and, we want to look at this roster objectively and say, what do we do best, and then create our offense around that, right? It's what Pete talks about. It's what a lot of OCs will tell you, and coaches on both sides of the ball. Not a lot actually do it, and then nearly none are able to do it as successfully as what you see now to Dan Mullen. I mean, to go from being, the number 3 passing attack in the country last year to now being like, okay, I don't have Trask anymore. I got a more mobile quarterback situation. My strength lies at right by the line. Like, to go from the number 3 passing attack in the nation, number 3 rushing attack in the nation is simply fantastic. And I think it's a little salt in the wound for some LSU fans, Jake, as you've been watching an offense for 2 years now with varying levels of success. It's not that the offense has been a disaster, but you've been watching an offense that has been chasing this ghost of Joe Brady, chasing this blueprint. And I feel that they've kind of ignored maybe what their personnel does best. Or I don't know if they truly have that goal at the center like it appears that Mullen and Florida has. And when you look at LSU offensively, this really worries me, right? You have yet to break 30 points in a Power 5 game. And Florida gives up 16 points a game, which is 15th in the country. You've talked a lot of Florida.
31 last year with the same players, same coordinator, and that's been the most impressive thing is they cut it in half with the same people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like most of the time,
that's wild. Like,
you make a change of coordinator or you bring in a couple of players. I mean, it's the same people.
So what does this Florida defense do as we get ready for Coach O? Real quick, what does this Florida defense do that you think will specifically give LSU problems?
It's Todd Grantham. I mean, they're going to bring pressure. They're going to have guys coming from different spots. They're going to try to confuse your young quarterback. They also got some guys up front that are playing really well. Zachary Carter, someone that was at SEC Media Day and had a lot of confidence, and I walked away impressed after I talked with him. He's walking the walk, talking the talk, doing the whole deal. It's an aggressive defense. You better be ready. I mean, Jeremiah Moon, somebody you're not going to look long for. They're coming. They're coming from different angles, different personnel groups, and they're going to be aggressive. Again, when you watch the tape last week and Max is holding on to the football, Todd Grantham loves that because now he knows he can get to you because you're starting to see some things that maybe aren't even there, right? So expect him to be the same Todd Grantham, right? He's going to be aggressive. He's going to make sure guys are coming off the edge, the whole deal.
All right, coming up next, let's talk to Coach O about some of the recent news in this upcoming weekend matchup against the Florida Gators. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench. 104.5
Off the
ESPN.
Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to the relaxationcompany.org. Y'all are looking pretty tense out there, I'm sure, right now. I'm going to ignore you for the next few minutes. But if you're feeling a little tense, a little angry, why don't you go to the relaxation company out there, Pelican Point and Gonzales. Go treat yourself. Get yourself a little massage. And when you do that, not only are you going to feel better, but you are supporting local family-owned business. Jennifer DeLotte's been a licensed massage therapist for over 2 decades. She now has a place to call her own. Support that dream. She does things the right way. She knows what separates the best because she's been doing it so long, and the relaxation company is the best.
All right, TRC Massage on Instagram. We give it to you because that's important. Like right now, they have a giveaway. If you sign up for their newsletter, which starts on October the 15th, you can be entered in a contest to win a $100 gift card to the relaxation company. They do stuff like this all the time. TRC Massage on Instagram, therelaxationcompany.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys. For those who...
Coming up on a Tuesday edition of Early Line, we start looking ahead to the weekend's action and go out to Las Vegas to talk to Rafael Esparza of DocSports.com. Plus, we get some playoff picks in Major League Baseball with Tyler Moody. Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Off the Bench. T-Bob, Jake Martin, and Danny hanging out with you today. It's Tuesday at 7:30, and we're very lucky and happy every Tuesday we have on the head man from LSU football talking about Coach Ed Ogeron. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this morning on this Competition Tuesday. So, Coach, let's start with the biggest piece of news in the LSU cycle right now, which is the Kayshon Boutte news that he is going to be out for the season. With Kayshon specifically, and I know, unfortunately, there's some other injury adversity as well, but with Kayshon specifically, how do you think y'all can make up? Like, how do you look to make up for the loss of your most productive player, and who do you think steps up into that wide receiver one slot?
First of all, I would say something about Kayshon, man. What a tremendous competitor. Yeah. What a tremendous catch he made on the sideline. Unbelievable. The focus to get that grit. He's an outstanding young man for our football team. Well, obviously, we're going to miss him. We're going to take Blake Davis, Moore, Brian Thomas, Devontae Lee, Jack Beck, Ray Jenkins, Trey Palmer, Trey Kirkland, step up. They're going to do it. I know they will.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the deepest room on the team, so it's kind of similar to last year with the Terrace Marshall situation. I wonder if somebody will emerge. Coach, I want to talk to you about the press conference yesterday where you talked about, look, I know the LSU standard of performance, okay, and nobody understands that better than I do. And then you finished by saying, look, I'm not going to blink. Expound on that a little bit. What do you mean when you say you're not going to blink?
Well, my job is to come here to LSU and coach the best I can on a daily basis. That's what I'm doing. And, out there, there's about my job and all that stuff. Nobody's told me anything. As far as I know, the head coach of the LSU Tigers, I'm going to coach as hard as I can today, one day at a time.
Coach, I hate to keep talking about injuries, but obviously Ali Gay was somebody you mentioned yesterday is going to be out as well. Joseph Evans, another defensive lineman. And when you look at Florida coming to town with the running game that they have, I believe they're third in the country. Dameon Pierce, Malik Davis, really good running backs. What are some players you expect to kind of move around to try to shore up that front?
Well, I'm glad we get Glenn Logan back. This is his first back, and he did a good job. Boy did a good job of getting them ready. He's in good shape. Like practice yesterday, feels good. So obviously him, we all have to move Mason back to end. Like Glenn playing there, Neil got to play better than we did last week. You know that. There you got BJ there. You got Sony. Those guys are going to step up for it.
Coach, one guy that has been stepping up all year long, he's been a definite bright spot, that is Mason Smith, the freshman. And look, Jaquelin Roy, Guillory, they've been doing excellent as well. They've been coming on. But Smith does have that feeling of like a transcendent sort of player, right? You've dealt with a lot of those in your career. What are the keys to getting players of that caliber to kind of to reach that ceiling and reach their full potential?
First of all, Mason's a great young man, state of Louisiana. We got on everybody for him. Great character guy. Come in here to work hard. He's very humble man. He reminds me a lot of guy that had a like top 5 pick and then is doing well in the pros. He has this athletic ability. Mason's going to go far. He's got some things to learn, but he's just a freshman. And but more, freshman right now, pass rusher. He's an excellent inside pass rusher. And we're moving him back to end. Probably his natural spot playing back to end.
Coach, let's talk about the offense a little bit. And there's been like a lot of good offensively, but it's kind of halting, right? There's a little too many mistakes mixed in, and because of that you have yet to break that 30-point barrier against a Power 5 team this year. What do you see as kind of the biggest issues holding back the offense right now?
Well, the first thing I like the run game. I know you guys were excited about it. I know Big Jacob was excited about that. T-Bob, you alignment, you like that. And I thought Ty Davis ran very hard. It's the best thing we've run the ball all year. I think it's consistency. This is keeping drives alive. Fourth down, that was a big fourth down that we didn't convert. Last week we had converted 2 or 3 on the first drive. I think it's just consistency, protecting the quarterback, and just keeping drives alive.
Well, and you mentioned the fourth down, Coach, and I want to ask about Mashburn in a second too, but you mentioned the fourth downs, and for the second week in a row, a timeout ends up having to be called before a big fourth down. What's going on with the mechanics offensively that situation arose 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah. Well, last week it was a clock management. There was no question about that. Okay. This week we called the play. They gave us a defense that we did not want to run that play against. So we called timeout. That's the reason we called timeout this fourth down. There was no way that we had a play called in. There was no way we wanted to run that play against the defense call. The defense is a big call.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the run game, and obviously it was the best it's been this year. What were some of the things that you were able to get done? Because T-Bob mentioned seeing Jack Mashburn come in the game. It was a different it looked like it was a little bit different. You had more room to run when he came in the game. And then obviously Ty Davis Price did a really nice job going north and south, and that's the most physical I've seen him run.
Yes, I'm very proud of Jack and his blocking, and we're going to use him more, obviously. He stepped up on the depth chart. Him and Jack Best are 2 tight ends now. I haven't seen Jack as a great receiving tight end, and Jack will be more of a blocking tight end. But I thought the offensive line did a good job. I thought Coach Davis did a good job. Anthony Bradford's coming along. Cam Wire went in there and played well. I thought this was the offensive line's best game in the run game.
Yeah, it's interesting, Coach, but left tackle felt like pretty solid, like you said this last week, talking about Bradford and Wire. Where do you see Bradford's future line? Do you still think it's on the interior, and this is just kind of a okay? So he's out there because he has to be out there at this point.
Yeah, I think he's a guard. I think he has a chance to go to the NFL. He has the talent to play 10 to 12 years in the NFL. He's an extremely talented young man.
Coach, when you look at Florida this weekend, obviously it's always a crazy game. What is the early kind of film and scouting report revealed about Florida offensively and defensively?
Well, first of all, I think Dan Mullen's one of the best play callers in the country. He knows exactly. He's very smart. I've known Dan since years at Syracuse. Very smart coach. He knows exactly where to call plays, the weaknesses of the defense. His running backs are outstanding. The way they run the ball, he's a big gap scheme guy. Powers, counters, a quarterback runs. And then when you commit too much to the run, he's going to catch you and throw play action pass with the tight end going up the field and stuff like that, and wheel routes. Excellent play call. It's going to be a tremendous challenge.
All right, when you look at Florida defensively, obviously Todd Grantham's been there for a very long time. Coach, we know he's an aggressive play caller. What do you expect to see from him?
We got about their defensive front. Todd is an outstanding coach. They got some outstanding rushers. They got some outstanding speed. They fly around. They get to the football. They're only giving up 16 points a game, and nowadays there's pretty good defense.
Coach, what's the message to the team right now when they're just kind of hearing like all this noise around them? How do you get the guys locked in for Saturday at 11 a.m.?
Yeah, look, hey, it's Florida, man. They believe it or not, yesterday was one of our better Monday practices. A 24-hour rule on to Florida. Here's what I told them. I said, listen, you're going to remember this the rest of your life, that you decided to fight.
Yeah.
Your back's against the wall. You stayed together and you fought. And that's our mantra right now. Stay together and fight.
Coach O, head coach of the LSU football Tigers. Coach, anything to add on the way out here?
No, man. Y'all have a good day. Go Tigers.
Okay, yes, sir. Competition Tuesday. Enjoy that. LSU, Florida. Coming up this weekend, we will wrap up hour number 1 of OTB next. Coming up hour 2. We got our OTB mailbag. We got our guy Dick Dixon stopping by. Start to look forward to continue to break down LSU, Florida, as Jake knows this matchup inside and out, obviously. The Florida killer himself. Although, it's
probably not. Let's not use that term. There's
what, Florida killer?
Yeah.
There's there's probably like a lot of serial killers that probably applies to too from the state of Florida. But
one used to live next door to me growing up in Shreveport. It's like
What?
a whole deal. We'll talk about that.
Wait, what?
We'll go to break. I'll tell you.
I did not know I was hitting on such a real subject here. I was just going to say that I think Matt Flynn maybe should get a little more credit for the fourth downs. Well, I forgot about that 4th and 5 touchdown in the fourth quarter until I was rewatching some of those highlights a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Shout out the brothers Flester since day one. Who would have ever guessed? All right, wrap it up. Hour number 1 next here on OTV.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to AdvantaClean.com, AdvantaClean.com, 369-5228. There's the number, 369-5228. Any fire damage, water damage, mold damage, you already know. Advantic, right? You know what I'm going to say next, probably. One call to solve it all. And I mean that literally, right? You call AdvantaClean. They fix the problem. They document it. They deal with the insurance company for you. So you literally just call AdvantaClean and all of your problems are solved. These problems can feel overwhelming, but they don't have to be when you work with AdvantaClean.
AdvantaClean.com. There you can find a full list of services. They do so many things. They offer so many things over at AdvantaClean. If you have a business and you want to get the business sanitized, you can do that. If you want to get a plan in place in case something happens due to bad weather, you can do that, right? They do everything. Get that plan in place. That way you don't have any missed days. And when you own a business, as you know, you don't want to have missed days because that means missed revenue. You already missed so much in 2020. You don't want to have that happen again. So go to AdvantaClean.com. Check out a full list of services. You'll see them right there on the site, AdvantaClean.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are now open for business and are ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing off I-10 in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crews at Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are going to do right by you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person. Connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Sean Salisbury joins the show. We'll talk Saints with Larry Holder, and Feinswag talks beer. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, T-Bob, Jake, Mario, and Danny hanging out with you today. I'm trying to focus on the game and everything, but Jake just kind of blew my mind with this next door neighbor serial killer thing. This is crazy. It's just crazy. Are you okay with saying the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Rawling. And I guess it's just especially crazy. I've always had a bit of the, I don't know, what's it called when you have a fascination with serial killers? I don't know exactly, but like, have you ever fallen into like an internet wormhole where you just keep looking up like videos of them or reading like articles and Wikipedias and everything?
I mean, maybe not that. Definitely, like when it comes on, like on Netflix, or if they have like
Mindhunter. Yes,
special...
Mindhunter threw me into a deep hole. Right. And so, but I've never come across Danny Rawling from Shreveport, Louisiana. Gainesville Ripper murdered 5 students in 4 days in Gainesville, Florida. Confessed to a triple homicide in Shreveport. and this dude was your neighbor?
Yeah. So it was there was one house in between us, and he lived on the corner.
What?
When we were growing up in Shreveport, and it was his parents' house, and he lived there, and like we weren't allowed to like go, around.
Good instincts by your parents.
Yeah.
Good instincts there, I would say.
And my dad knew his dad because his dad was a police officer, and my dad was as well in the SPD.
This is all so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Especially after seeing American Psycho last night, which is the most kind of sociopathic like portrayal of a character that I've ever seen. Wow. Okay. I don't even know how to like get my head out of this space, I guess. Well, I will say this about American Psycho. Christian Bale remains an elite performance from Bale in that. All right. So let's maybe talk then about a little bit about LSU Florida. Did anything really stand out to you in terms of from what O had to say, Jake? I mean, it's just such a weird situation to be in right now for him personally, because the writing is kind of on the wall, but you still got a job to do. You got to keep the team motivated. I guess I'll ask you the same thing that Brian Haldane asked me downstairs, and it's like, how tough do you think it is to go about and do your job with all of this noise surrounding you?
All right, so I can't speak from experience at LSU, like going through a slide like this. And it's just, fortunately, we just didn't have that type of a
No, you missed the
season.
3-5 year, didn't you? You bailed, and then we went 3-5 in the SEC, and you just got to watch from afar in your NFL castle.
08?
Yeah, in your NFL castle, as the team struggled to like find itself and had meetings about what had gone so wrong, and chemistry had kind of gone out the window. Yeah, so you're right. You never went through that.
But that same year, I was 4-8.
Okay.
But we ended up going 8-8, win a playoff game.
Okay, well, I mean, well, that story died.
But I mean, look, in at the next level, I was part of teams that we weren't, 1-10 or anything like that, but we were struggling. And at the end of the day, it's like the stuff you put on tape and the pride of what you put on tape, even more so at the college level, because you're trying to get to that next level. Like, you got to have some self-pride. You got to go out there and you have to play. You play for the team, but you also know what you're playing for. You go out there and you put some bad stuff on tape, and this might be where your football career ends. Right? And there's a lot of players for LSU that want to play and are going to play on Sunday. So I've never been in the, man, we got to look for some motivation to play. Like, I don't care how many people are in the stadium. I don't care what the record is. Like, I've got to go out there and I've got to do my damnedest to put the best stuff I can out there on tape and play for my teammates and all that type of stuff. Like, it's really not that hard. It's just not. If you're doing it for the right reasons, it's not that hard.
The thing that I get worried about sometimes is I feel like sometimes this sort of stuff can affect you on a subconscious level even more than a conscious level, right? Where it's like, okay, if they come out Saturday and everything goes well from the beginning and they score a couple touchdowns early on, defense is playing well, okay, well then you can get in the flow of it. You're feeling good, and maybe you can do something, right? Maybe you can pull off the long odds upset. But when you start like you did against Kentucky and things are already going poorly, and maybe in the back of your mind, even if you're trying to ignore it or not address it, you're thinking like, are we that good? Now we're out with that boot tape. Like, you have a lot of kind of fears and insecurities in the back of your mind. All of a sudden, if you go out there and you get punched in the mouth a couple times, all those can kind of come to the forefront, right? And even though you're still actively trying, it has a way of just kind of bringing down teams and maybe making them fold. I just think the mentality of LSU right now, and being a part of a losing team, I think I can speak to this a bit. Sometimes when you're going through that and you're not used to it, your mentality can just be so brittle. It's not to say that you can't be good when everything goes right. It's just to say that when even not a ton of stress, right? Just a bit of stress can be applied, that you do run the risk of breaking. And then also, I mean, look, it's impossible to, I think it's impossible outside looking in, or maybe it's not. I'll ask you, how do you think that the players maybe feel about the coaching staff outside looking in? Because that does go a long way. And I will remember, at the time, like even during the Tennessee stuff in 2009 and everything, like there were players kind of, were half joking, but kind of serious, like the next week being like, oh, way to save Miles' job and stuff like that. Because there was a lot of talk that maybe like he wasn't like maximizing what we had, we were maybe winning in spite of him sometimes. And I just don't, I wonder what the attitude is right now
I don't know that. And I don't go in the locker room when there's halftime speeches or post game speeches or anything like that. I know as far as coordinators, the relationships are still really good. I do see that interaction probably more, but
well, then if you're these coaches, you gotta try to get them to lock in and play for you and make something happen. But it all feels very long odds right now. Coming up in hour number 2, OTB mailbag and other shenanigans. Keep it locked.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to GoTrosOutdoorPower.com, GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. You know we love GoTros. We love talking about them every day. And if you love Hustler equipment or landscaping, you want to go to GoTros. Again, the number one Hustler dealer in Louisiana. So you want those zero-turn mowers. It doesn't matter. Maybe you have a landscaping business. Maybe you're just doing this at home yourself. You enjoy it, right? You want to buy from GoTros no matter what because you get advantages that you're not going to get anywhere else. You have pick-up and drop-off delivery service. They have full parts departments, full service departments. They are family-owned and operated, a local business. So they're there for you. It's just such an incredible resource, Jake. Buy from GoTrosOutdoorPower.com.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Louisiana's number one Hustler dealer. Come check out the 2 locations locally, Gonzales and Baton Rouge. But remember, in the state of Louisiana, if you're listening to us, they will deliver that Hustler equipment to your home. So go check it out, GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. Fantastic deals on all the Hustler equipment. That's GoTros Outdoor Power.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everybody. It's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, October 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 82. Coming up on OTB, Richard Dixon stops by at 8:30, and Nick Underhill joins the show at 9 to talk Saints. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN, or watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, Peter said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
I thought Mario was fighting a hiccup or a cough there, but I didn't realize I was so fascinated still by Jacob's insane serial killer neighbor, which we just learned on Wikipedia was actually the inspiration from the screenwriter of Scream. I didn't realize you left, Mario. So you sprinted out of here, sprinted back, and so I know that feeling. I'll never forget back in the early days of OTB. It was me, Derek, and Jordy, and we were covering some high school game. And I had to do some halftime report. And I remember sprinting up from the box and just being dead out of breath the entire time, and being like so embarrassed, even though I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that was a mess. At the end of the day, I'm just really out of shape, and that should not be.
Okay, well there we go. Now we got a little motivation to I don't know, get it right or something.
Yes.
LSU needs some motivation to get it right. This LSU Florida game does not look great. On paper, obviously, LSU 10.5-point dogs, even though the game is at home. So that kind of gives you an idea of really just how much better Florida looks this year. We mentioned the fact that Florida has now cut their scoring defense in half from last season. They're now top 15 in the country in that regard, while LSU is, it's weird because for a lot of this season, Jake, while the offense has had very clear problems, I think at least it maybe, I don't know. To me, it kind of maybe until this last couple, it felt better than maybe the stats would dictate, but I was pretty shocked to read, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's right. That like you haven't even broken 30 against the Power 5 team yet for one reason or another. And so it doesn't look like it's going to get any easier, obviously, with that Butte now going against Florida. And if that's going to change, one of the keys is going to be Max Johnson. And somebody in the chat was earlier kind of asking about Max Johnson, his reads. Obviously, last game was his worst game, and it was the game where he kind of felt like he was holding on to the ball the most. So what do you think is going on with Johnson right now in terms of why was it taking him so long last week to get to those reads?
Yeah, I think it's now a couple of weeks where you've seen him hold on to the football longer, and some of it has to do with route combinations. I think some of it probably has to do with seeing ghost. Anytime that you're struggling up front and you're typically used to having to escape the pocket, he's leaving some clean pockets.
Yeah.
That's been something that, really the last, you could even go back to Mississippi State, but certainly the last 2 games, and just doesn't look like the comfortable player like he looked. Like his true freshman season, he looked as comfortable as anyone. I mean, he was back there, and it just seemed like everything was like slowed down for him.
Yeah. No, I mean, he had a. That's why we spent an entire offseason talking about the intangibles, right? Because he had the feeling of a vet, even though he was a freshman in the swamp. Again, you never know what you have till it's gone. Steve Ensminger was not getting enough credit, right? I mean, I don't know. Right. That's not the end-all, be-all. That doesn't tell the entire story, but it is a bit odd that he would look more comfortable in those situations last year than he does now, even though he has vastly more experience.
Well, I mean, Steve Ensminger not getting enough credit is something you can count on for multiple seasons, not just last year when they were 4th overall in offense in the SEC. So, for example, like one play that sticks out in my brain, there was one play where Max throws it to Jack Besh, and it looks like, it's double coverage. But when you go back and you watch the play, Besh is on an over route, and there's nothing underneath it. So there's nothing underneath it to hold the linebacker, pull the linebacker. So what the linebacker does is he basically, if you're Jack Besh, he just walls him off. He sits there and he looks like he's playing basketball. He walls him off, and then Besh has a trailer with him as well. So it's double coverage based off the route concept, right?
Yeah.
It's not called a double coverage on a crosser.
Yeah,
from
you're
Jack
saying
Besh.
poor route combination is creating double coverage on Jack Besh.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one play that stands out in my brain. Like, typically you would have something else coming at a different level to be able to pull or hold the linebacker away from Jack Besh. And then, Max throws it to him. Now, in the same vein, like, you can't throw it to a player that's got two players on him. So it's just, like I said, clunky. I think yesterday was my word for the offense, and it's kind of been my word all year. Whenever it's not gone right, that's what it's looked like.
Yeah.
Right? You got to give me a rhyme and a reason, and sometimes I don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, a lack of rhythm has been pervasive throughout the entire year. And like you said, I think it's some things conceptually, as we talk about it, some things mechanically. Sometimes it's personnel as well. There's just a few too many holes for them to sustain the drives that they need to sustain to be successful with this team. Because, look, I get it. The defense, they aren't world beaters. But if they were getting more complimentary football, I do feel like you would probably feel a bit different about the defense. You'd probably feel a bit more positive. Like, as much as they did get run over in the second half of Kentucky last game, and they did, I'd be interested to see in some sort of different hypothetical world where it's 14-14 or the offense is more competitive and you don't kind of – because I've been a part of teams where I've been the bad offense, and, like, I've seen the defense have to do that heavy lifting and kind of some of the it can almost cause, like, relational problems at times between the two sides of the ball because it even said, like, what the hell, dude? We're doing our job. Like, where are you? We need anything. We need some – sort of support here at the team game, and if you don't get that, like, you can only take so much before you break, especially if you're not great. Like, maybe the difference between this team and ones that I was a part of is that our defenses for that era were still great, so they could withstand more than most. This one just needs more help, and unfortunately, you're just not getting it from this offense, and I feel bad, man. I feel bad because Jake Peets worked his entire life for this opportunity. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's just trying too much to chase the ghost of Joe Brady, right? The same problem that I think has kind of plagued LSU. Maybe it's plagued Peets even specifically in trying to recreate that offense and not make it his own. I don't know. Maybe he did make it his own, and it just hasn't gone well. But to see the kind of regression of Johnson and now the regression of the offense as a whole, the mechanical issues week to week. Again, I just hate the standing around muddle huddle thing. They don't seem to play hard a lot of times. It just, unfortunately, it all reflects very poorly on Pete's, and then that speaks to the bigger problem of the O era, which has been hiring consistently. There's been some really good ones, but you've missed a few too many times.
Yeah, someone points out in the Bayou 4 chat, Max does have more tape out there as well when you start talking about quarterback play, and they realize that he does like throwing the hitches and the slants, and he made his hay in the middle of the football field a year ago in both those big wins at the end of last year, and he has struggled at times throwing the deep ball. Trey Palmer's had a couple of plays that he's had a step 2 or 3 on the defensive back, and the ball's not been able to get there. Jack Besh certainly had one last week as well, seam route, middle of the football field, and you miss him there. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we could point to. This isn't a one-person issue. I mean, this is, like, as an organization offensively, like, there's some things that you're just not doing what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, personnel-wise, the offensive line kind of remains the root of all evil. Though they played a better game last year, they are just so limited, and admittedly for Pete, that's kind of a hard situation to try to navigate, trying to call a game in which your offensive line is outclassed in the trenches by the opponent. It's a really tough issue to overcome. So, yeah, it's just kind of again, man, ever since the perfect storm of good that created the national championship, it's almost been a perfect storm of bad ever since COVID hit. When you look at, like, the opt-outs, the injuries. I mean, look at this. Like, what do you say? Okay, so obviously this is a flawed team to begin with, right? And when you talk about this LSU team, that's not saying anything crazy. So then what happens when you take out Jared Small, who's supposed to be your starting linebacker? You take out Andre Anthony, who was your defensive leader and maybe your best defensive end. Then you take out Derek Stingley Jr., who's not only your best cover corner, but one of the best in the entire country. Now you lose Major Burns, Joseph Evans for this game, Ali Gay, who behind Andre Anthony is probably your best defensive end, and John Emery remains out for academic issues. It's just like, and of course, Keishon Butte, like your number one player, without a doubt, the most consistent guy, the best guy. I mean, come on, Anthony, Stingley, Gay, Butte, like what do you? I mean, and you're already flawed. What are you supposed to do? I mean, at that point, that's why I get so worried about the mentality of this team. Is it's probably real easy for those guys right now to feel snake bit, and even if they're fighting this consciously, to subconsciously just feel like worn down. And I don't know what it's going to look like Saturday, man. I'm worried in the same way that I started to become worried before Kentucky that if it starts poorly, does this thing snowball out of control? Because you also got a Florida team that's obviously going to be out for revenge. I mean, they feel like they had no business losing last year, and honestly, they didn't. They screwed up through the shoe, all that, the incredible kicks. And so, yeah, and you know Mullen does not forgive and does not forget. He is that type of person. And so, yeah, Florida's going to be motivated to not just beat LSU, but I think to try to bury LSU.
Well, I mean, Florida's got their own issues as well. You know, Florida is a team that has some things they have to figure out. And everything you said is factual. Like, Florida's going to come in here pretty angry that they lost that game. Their season spiraled after LSU was able to beat them, and they lost 3 straight games. So this is a team that has its own issues. But, man, I have a hard time, and I know they have some injuries, and they've had some injuries, key positions, leaders, the whole deal. But I just have a hard time thinking about players being in Tiger Stadium against Florida and not raising their level of play, not playing with pride, passion, and all the cliches, because that's just, that scene and that stage is too big for me to even.
I guess I go back to, though, like, you know, we were talking about Monday, like Liam Shanahan could do everything that Lloyd Cushenberry did, and he would never be Lloyd Cushenberry, right? Yeah. So, like, a lot of this team, and now you're missing Butte, like, you could play with all the pride in the world, but what is it? Like, you know, there are just physical limitations at a certain point, and who knows? Look, I would love to be shocked. I would love to be shocked. You just can't give the team the benefit of the doubt going into it. Who do you think will be wide receiver 1, though? Well, is it as simple as Besh? I mean, Malik Neighbors kind of feels like the guy randomly.
Because Jack has to do other stuff. Like pregame, Jack's with the tight ends. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Jack has to do things like play a wing position, and he's trying to be as much as an F as he can. So I think it's got to be Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is someone that we walked away from training camp, scrimmage number 2, I believe it was, and he dominated. He was the best player on the field that day. Mm. I mean, we've seen Smith have a big game against Central Michigan, so you know we'll see if he gets some more run. I think Malik Neighbors has the attitude to be a number 1. I still think there's some other of the young receivers that you want to see a little bit more from. I think there's more to get from Brian Thomas Jr. I think you want to try to get a little bit more out of him. We've seen flashes, but you want to see him be more consistent. I think it's got to be Malik Neighbors, just mentality-wise, and seeing what he's done in training camp and what he did. You know, even last week you're down and you go compete for a football. I think he has the skill set to be a number 1 as well.
Yeah, catch was pretty awesome. A lone bright spot in a sea of darkness. All right, well, look, let's loosen up a little bit. LSU, Florida, obviously the more you talk about it, maybe the less good you kind of feel about it. But let's do a little OTB mailbag. Now, you can ask LSU, Florida questions. You already know. Like, all questions are good to go in mailbag, literally about anything in life. So hashtag OTB mailbag in the chat, and we will get to those next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. Look, fellas, the minivan revolution is here, okay? It's time to join me in the MVG. That's the minivan gang. Now, I got that 2020 Sienna. I got it murdered out. Thanks to my friends over there at All-Star Toyota. I said I went black on black on black on black. They did that. So if you want to join me, imagine how cool we could look if we were all just rolling around in all blacked out minivans, okay? That could be us. all that's stopping you is going to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. Could be us, Jake.
It could be, and it could be me tomorrow. Like if I just went and rented a Sienna minivan.
Bro, what if that church van was it all black?
That'd be tight.
That'd be tight.
Yeah, but I can go get an all black one because I can rent it per day pricing as well. So I can get for a week. I can keep it for 3 days. I can keep it for 6 hours, and you can do it as well. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's week 7 in the prep football season, and we get you started Friday night with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And then starting at 10 o'clock, it's a full 2 hours of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back. OTB, man. Keep up, Jake, Mar, and Dana hanging out with you this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Actually, look, if, how about this? If you think we only lob softballs to coach, hit the like button. And that'll prove it to me that you think that. and I will change my ways. But you got to hit the like button. That's the only way it's going to work. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We do this every Tuesday. It's one of the most fun things every week. OTB Mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
All right. Hashtag OTB Mailbag from Bilbo Baggins. What does the OTB crew plan on wearing for Halloween? We don't know yet.
It's been a real discussion.
Nobody wants to commit to anything.
No. I mean, we literally had a team outing.
Yeah.
And talked about it the entire team outing.
And then just let it go. We at least narrowed it down to 3 finalists. Shrek, Ghostbusters, or TMNT. It works for us number-wise. I think, is Mario still in there? Is Super Mario still in the mix?
I don't know. There was a weird conversation about which Marios, and could it be Super Mario? Could it be Mario Kart? And you got all in your feels about it.
Yes, I did. In my nerd feels. This is true. If we want to do a Mario Kart thing, we can. I'll be dry bones.
I'm cool with any of the 3 you said, man.
But no, we can't. No, we need to narrow it to 3. So we will maybe vote on it this Friday or something. We still don't know what's the point. Jacques Corby, OTB Mailbag. When it comes to the mind-body... I don't know what this is. Never mind. Nookie, hashtag OTB Mailbag. Is Mullen particularly easy to despise? I've always said he has a very punchable face. But also, I think that Dan Mullen embraces it, right? Like he sits there and he... he does the Vader thing, and he doesn't like...
He's a Liverpool fan. Get out of here.
He doesn't do what coaches are taught to do, right? Like you will never see a coach, or very rarely where you see a coach, and a lot of people dislike him for this. But like last year when he was like, well, that wasn't the 2020 Florida team. Right, like the last 20, like coaches are supposed to above all be like, no, we got to come out there, we got to win. But no, like Mullen will...
He will.
He will get in his feels and be a little more honest, and I think it causes people to dislike him.
One of my favorite Dan Mullen moments that I've ever had, and I think I told this story, but when we were at SEC Media Days, it was me and Doring on SiriusXM, and we're interviewing Coach Mullen, and Cole Kubelik is in there as well, and we are like having a time. We're on air, and like for like 7 minutes, we're talking about everything else outside of football, and Dan's loving it.
Yeah.
Like you said, like the Darth Vader stuff, and we're just going through it, and Cole was uncomfortable, and he's like, all right, let's get it back to football. And when he said that, Dan Mullen goes, boo, into the microphone.
I mean, I'm sure Dan Mullen's like if you were going to have a beer with Dan Mullen, you would probably like him.
Right? So I had a good 7 minutes with him. I mean, there's definitely some things I'm like, but.
Also, bro, I'm still impressed. The most likable thing he's ever done is his wake surfing video from this summer. I mean, the man can straight up do a full 360 on the wake surf. That's hard. It's really hard. A little more athleticism in Mullen than you thought. Hashtag OTB Mailbag Avo Marzawanian. When y'all found out about your neighbor, did you go, I knew it?
I think they knew it like there's something for a while. Yeah. Like I think the whole neighborhood kind of knew, right?
I mean, I don't know. I've never lived by a killer. But yeah, basically like everybody knew there
Maybe
was
not
something.
like to the extent that he was by any means.
Yeah,
but
also, smaller town, small neighborhood, everybody knows each other. You kind of know where the
Smaller
fractured
town.
relationships lie. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm assuming a lot of things there. I don't know how tight your neighborhood was growing up. Cole
Sunset
and the gang.
Acres Indians.
That's right. Sunset Acres. The name that sounds like white picket fences in 1950s America.
I told you it wasn't that.
I know, but it sounds like it. That's like a town in like Fallout. Cole and the gang. Hashtag OTB Mailbag. Most overrated Halloween movie of all time. The first Jason movie. Why am I blanking on what the Jason movies are called?
Friday the 13th.
Yes, the first Friday the 13th I did not really like. We watched it for an episode
When it
of
was
Real
the mom.
Friends. Yeah, when it's the mom, and it just I don't know. I just didn't like I'd not seen a lot of those classics, and we watched it for an old show that me, Rivers, and Nathan used to do, and I fell in love with Nightmare on Elm Street. Absolutely fantastic movie. Halloween still is awesome. I did not particularly like Friday the 13th.
House of Wax.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We talked about that.
Well, Paris Hilton.
So bad.
Paris Hilton horror movie.
Some of the actors in that, God bless you.
What about y'all? Most overrated Halloween movie of all time. Danny, I know you got an opinion.
My sister loved Halloween Town on Disney Channel. I didn't think it was that great.
What's that?
Man, I love Halloween Town. It was an old Disney Channel original movie. You might have been a little too old for it at the time, but I actually still genuinely love Halloween 10 and Hocus Pocus?
I'm going Saw.
The original, the OG, or the whole series, like franchise?
Yeah, pretty much the whole series.
Oh, okay.
It's very repetitive.
Original Saw was kind of a banger, though.
I thought it was, too.
When he gets up at the end and you're like, oh, no way, what? Half the dude cuts off his own leg. I mean, that was actually, that was pretty good. I agree with you. Saw's got bad, though.
I like the scene in Scary Movie with Dr. Phil and Shaq, where Shaq has to make a free throw or chop off his own foot. He ends up chopping off his own foot.
The Scary Movie has some real high moments. Like they're like 1 and 3 are really good. 2's not the best, but like
grab my strong hand.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun throughout. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Would you rather be in LSU's position this week or Mississippi State's? Of course, State has Bama, LSU, Florida.
Well,
I
mean,
think
we know what the expectations are in both towns.
Yeah.
Right. And we know, what you have to do here compared to what you have to do there. And that's not slighting anybody. That's just being real with it.
Oh, you're patting Rivers on the head. Watch out, dude.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I get accused of every time.
Sorry.
I
know. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
And Mississippi State's got, a big win for, Texas A&M under their belt. They're playing with house money. Like, you're reeling if you're LSU. So, right?
Yes. You would rather the vibes around Mississippi State are much more positive. And now through the laws of transitive sports properties, before this game is played Saturday, Mississippi State can walk around and say we're better than Alabama because they beat A&M and A&M beat Alabama. Now that might change on Saturday, so get it in while you can. Nookie says Sunset Acres is a retirement home Jake Flynn and Dixon will be enrolled in. That yes, absolutely.
I feel like I'll be there sooner.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. Will you be rooting for Kentucky the rest of the way?
Yes.
I think I do too. I mean, right? There's no real threat to LSU. Yes, you got your ass by him, and that sucks. But like, it's better than it's more exciting than the big dogs winning, right?
For sure, it is.
And I like Kentucky's uniform. I like their Rosenthal.
You do. I like the way they built the program. It's just you don't see an SEC team do it the way they did it, and I can appreciate that. And I'll be honest with you, their crowd was electric on Saturday. I was there.
Yeah.
Like they were really good. They're fired up about their program. Yeah, if you're hey, choose between Georgia, Bama, and Kentucky, I'm choosing Kentucky. Like for the reasons you said.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, right? I don't know that I want to be clear about the uniforms. I really love Kentucky's uniforms. I did not love the ones they wore against LSU.
Yeah, I don't need
Those are not my favorite. I like just the royal blue with the checker marks. Again, it gives that very medieval knight sort of vibe.
This is my old man yelling at the clouds take. Y'all have heard me say it before. If I turn on the TV and I can't tell which team is playing, I'm not a fan typically of those uniforms.
Did you like the Tennessee units?
I don't like all black
with
uniforms.
The orange trim. Okay, so I love all black uniforms. I think they are getting a little overdone. The only reason I dig it, kind of like Tennessee's, very Halloween vibes, right?
Okay,
because of the black and
now
orange.
They do have
appropriate.
They do have a small trim of black in the uniform, so I can't say if it's not your colors because that's why I don't like. Like if you're a school that wears like black's one of your colors, I am all for doing like a blackout game. But
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean the weirdest choice.
I did like the
looks
helmet.
like Halloween. That looks like a pumpkin.
I did love the helmet though.
I will say the weirdest all black uniforms to me still were our Iowa State and the fact that they wear them against Iowa, who actually is all black. Like that just there's such a disconnect there. I just can't wrap my head around it. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Smiley asking, when was the last Florida game at Tiger Stadium played during the day? I mean, during the day, you mean like 11 a.m. or 2:30? There's been plenty
Florida,
of
the 11 a.m. The Hurricane game was 11 a.m. That 17, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Or 16?
Geist the wrong way game?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. Oh, no. That means we're going to have 2 horrible 11 a.m. Florida games in a row, probably. Music asks, I still don't know how you got the name Music on YouTube. Hashtag OTV mailbag. Could Urban return to college like Saban and build a dynasty at LSU? Look, while you could have entertained this conversation, I think a couple of weeks ago, I don't know. It's some of the recent Herb scandal. I don't, and then combined with LSU's own scandal of recent, like this hire has to be so squeaky clean Even though, look, I mean, Woodward did kick the tires on Pat Casey, so like you would imagine there's maybe at least some conversation that would take place. I don't see it happening.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, for literally all the reasons you laid out, and obviously, you know, it's just stability of him just isn't great either. Like you're at Florida, you decide to leave, and then later you're at Ohio State, and then you decide to leave, and it's like I'm done coaching. And then later you're the head coach of the Jaguars. So
Jaguars have lost 20 in a row. 20 in a row now.
1-4 against the spread. Just saying.
So they're not. So like they're even worse. And Vegas knows they're horrible, and is already they're even worse than Vegas thinking that they are horrible. Yeah, that's a good point. P. Fluid asking us to go to your mailbag. Why did O get mad at Jacques Doucette? I missed it. Okay, so I want to talk about this real quick, and then we'll go because Jacques yesterday was kind of Coach Oben asked earlier, how are you dealing with this, everything else, and Jacques kind of reiterated the question. Coach O asked him, Jacques, what are you doing? You trying to get a quote out of me? And Jacques said, I'm trying to do my job. Here's the deal, Jake. Both are right there, right? Like both are doing their job. Like Coach O is right. Yes, Jacques is trying to get a quote out of him. And Jacques is right in that, yes, he is doing his job. A lot of times the jobs of journalists and the people that they cover are fundamentally at odds with one another. Now, I don't consider myself a journalist. I consider myself just an entertainer. Show where we want to have fun, blah, 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 blah. So don't get mad at me about not holding myself to that same standard. But I don't think anybody is wrong in that exchange because both guys are just doing their job. And so good on Jacques. And it was right. So you are trying to get a quote out of him at that point. So just kind of is what it is, man. It's got to be really hard to be struggling and then just, have to answer questions about how you're struggling so much constantly. All right. When we get back, let's talk to our guy, Dick Dixon, former LSU great, here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. AC, heating, and electrical. You want to go to AccuTemp, where the customer experience is unrivaled. And, a lot of you may not trust me, so you don't have to trust me. Trust the internet. Well, that's, no, that can be kind of sketchy as well sometimes. But generally, internet reviews on a mass aggregate scale, they tell you the truth, right? It's like a Rotten Tomatoes rating or something. Well, they would be certified fresh if we're talking about Rotten Tomatoes. They have a 4.9 Google review rating, which is insane. But when you work with AccuTemp, you will see why. Go to AccuTempBR.com.
AccuTempBR.com. Also, call them 225-529-3519. But once you go to AccuTempBR.com, if you want to set up that call when it's convenient for you, you can do that. You can have a chat right there on the homepage of the website. You can set up a text thread, all those different ways to communicate with AccuTemp. You can check out those reviews and much more as well. AccuTempBR.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are now open for business and are ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing off I-10 in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crews at Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are going to do right by you.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe. both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. We'll be talking Saints as they enter their bye week and what things look like at Alec Box Stadium over the weekend. Noon to 2 weekdays, Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. T-Bob, Jake Mardani hanging out with you. And right now we're joined by one of our buddies, Richard Dixon, tight end extraordinaire, national champ. Number 18? Huh? Dick, what's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm headed over to Houston for the week for a little business. Not too excited about being around a bunch of A&M fans after this weekend.
Oof, I know. Okay, exactly, man. Exactly. So I want your opinion on it because I normally love nothing more than watching Alabama lose. I'm not sure that this was actually good, right? Like I'm not sure that this was the lesser of two evils, allowing A&M that win. What do you think? Would you have rather have seen Alabama win on Saturday?
No doubt. I mean, everybody can respect Alabama. One of the best college, not the best college dynasty ever. You never want to see A&M, who's trying to just make their mark in the SEC, get that big win.
Yeah.
I think as far as recruiting Texas, A&M is a bigger threat. Alabama, Nick Saban's getting old. He's got to be done at some point. But I just don't want A&M to catch any type of a wave.
Well, what's bad is they're still not a great football team. They played above their heads, but when you go and you watch Colorado and State and Arkansas, I mean, that's a bad football team. Don't worry, they still have plenty of games left on their schedule where they could lose some contests. I know they got the win that they've been looking for, but if you lose 4 games, it's still 8-4, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of not. I don't know. Not with this win.
It's a big win for them. I mean, it gives them a little bit of motivation. But this whole season's crazy. I mean, Mississippi State lost to what?
Memphis.
Lost to Memphis. Almost lost to another smaller school. They beat A&M. A&M almost lose to Colorado. Freaking Georgia only puts up 10 against Clemson, who Clemson's garbage, and then they're number one. Kentucky beat Florida. Like, everybody is beatable this year, and it's just kind of a strange year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete wild year, and I don't know, if LSU were to go 7-5, but they beat Alabama, right? I mean, how would that make you feel, right? I mean, we would be feeling pretty incredible up here. We'd be celebrating from the rooftops. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's in the cards this year. Dick, you got a lot of Florida memories as well. Do you have a Florida football memory that kind of stands out above the others through the years?
Man, I just remember that it was, the best team we played in the entire 4 years I was in college. It was the Tebow era. They had more NFL guys on that team than any other team. I remember I have bad luck in the swamp. Got my biggest butt whipping ever in 2000. I guess it was 8. 2006 was a rough game. I didn't have a lot of great memories against Florida.
That's true.
Were you 1-3 against the Gators?
Yeah, the only win we had was in 07.
Yeah.
And that was a fourth quarter hell of a comeback, tight game. But I will say that, in the 4 years I was in college, Florida did win 2 national championships. They're a pretty solid team.
Yeah, so I guess no shame.
Oh, yeah.
there.
They won 06, us 07, them 08. That was the rival when I was in school. Everybody wants to talk about another school, but these two teams hate each other. There's no love loss there between these two teams. And so, when you play a game like this, I still think that plays today. When you look at 2019, the atmosphere of that game, maybe the best atmosphere in Tiger Stadium, for a full 4 quarters. That was a fantastic atmosphere.
It was amazing.
And 18 when LSU went there and how their fans reacted. It was one of the best swamp experiences that I've had. Last year's game. This series and this rivalry still plays.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think it's because, Florida and LSU have both had greatness in, the past 20 years, but none of them have built that dynasty. I think they're the most similar teams in the SEC. They both, at any chance, any given year, no one would be surprised for them to make it to a national championship, just the amount of talent they have. But for some reason or another, they never can put a string of 5, 6, 7 years together.
Dick, what about this year's team? So obviously, you know a lot about offensive football, played in the NFL, played tight end. How do you, and we've talked about this thing to death, how do you feel about what you've seen out of Pete's in the offense so far this year?
Man, it's tough. A lot of things. The one thing that hasn't changed, in my opinion, this year is that we're talented enough to win 9 games, but I don't think we're being coached to win 9 games. And I love Coach O as much as anybody. I've known the guy for 16 years. And for some reason or another, the coaching is not getting down to the players where I haven't watched a quarter all year where I felt like that everybody on the field was confident that they knew what they were going to do and they had a battle that they could win. And for some reason they're not. It's either, 7 guys playing well, 4 not. It's just they haven't been able to put 11 guys go in the same direction, for a quarter this year. And it's just been kind of disappointing when you see the offensive weapons that they have. The offensive line struggles, but like I said, great quarterback play and great can get around bad offensive lines. And one way or another, we haven't been able to.
How do you feel about the tight end position and its kind of role in this offense where it's kind of like you and Jake had a baby and now y'all are part fullback, part tight end, as they're responsible to be lead blockers as well a lot. Oh, we lost Dick there. Should we call him back? What are you going to do? You want to call him back?
43, yeah, we'll call him back.
Okay.
Because I do want to get his answer on the tight end position and where it's at right now. Currently, you have a very talented receiver that's a big receiver that you've had to move to try to mold into a tight end, and I don't even think that's going to be for multiple years. I think that's just currently where you're at right now.
Oh, you think Besh eventually gets back to being
without
traditional
question.
wide receiver?
Yeah, without question, I think he does. And you also have a Cole Taylor who's had some definite ebbs and flows in his LSU career. And then you got a walk-on Jack Mashburn who actually played pretty well.
Well, the thing about Cole Taylor is I don't know which one's higher, ebbs or flows, but where are the high points for Taylor? I guess he had the touchdown. He had the touchdown against Mississippi State.
His cleat got taken off.
Yeah, exactly, right. That is the high point. His cleat got thrown. Rich, what do you see when you look at the tight end position as it's currently being used at LSU?
I just don't think there is a tight end position right now. Jack Bess, love what he's doing in the receiving game, but you can't expect a guy 6'2", 220, 225 to get out there and really be a weapon in the run game. I think that, as time comes, he can put on some more weight, get bulkier, and I think he's got the aggression and the toughness to do it, but I don't think he has the ability right now. Cole Taylor is someone I thought year 2 with his size, his frame, could have done it, but obviously, they're not confident he's not getting the job done. I think Mashburn, I think it was his name.
Yeah, he did good.
The
Jack
guy that came
Mashburn.
in this week, yeah, he played really well, and I think that was a spark in the run game, having a guy on the edge that can get a linebacker to move the DN, play a factor. And the first time this year, I think a tight end played a factor in the run game.
Dick, are you going to be at the 07 reunion this Saturday?
No, I got a buddy's wedding in Mississippi.
Imagine. But if we were undefeated, I bet he'd be there.
Yeah.
This is
Front
Hussein.
runner.
Y'all know him, one of my best friends. I can't miss him. I think T-Bob's met Hussein a couple times back.
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
day.
yeah, dude. Hussein. Okay.
He
Whoa,
went-
dude. Now, that is a
he went to
blast from
LSU
the
with us.
college past right there, dude. We used to party
Yeah.
with that dude a lot.
Yeah, I can't miss that one.
And he gets married during football
I'm about to
season on a
say,
Saturday?
Hussein should know better. What's going on there?
It's sometimes women get their way.
Not during football season.
Tale as old as time.
They done did it to him.
Undefeated. No doubt about that. All right, Dick. Well, any other thoughts on LSU Florida this Saturday?
I think that, we have the talent. I know it doesn't look good, doesn't sound good, but if the coaches put together their best game plan, put together their best script, it would not surprise me that they play the best game of the year and that we got to win. It's just we haven't been able to do that yet.
Damn. Okay, dude. I would love nothing more than for you to be correct, Richard. That would make me so
The talent is
so happy.
there. They just got to put together the best game plan they've done in 2 years.
Okay, yeah, not that much. Not that much. No big deal, right? Dick Dixon, former LSU great, national champion, NFL tight end, the man, you love him, 18 club member, not going to be at the 07 reunion this weekend. Hate to hear that, but it's always great hearing from you, Dick.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Take it easy, bro.
Thank you.
Man. Jake, are you going to be able to get involved in the reunion at all with
I
your
am.
game day responsibilities?
Now, with the game being at 11,
Yeah, I don't know what your schedule looks like. I'm sure Smitty and Co is going to be out there at Luke Sanders will be out there shotgunning beer at 6 a.m. or something.
Okay.
I'm sure. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going out there.
Oh, yeah, you don't have any.
Well, that's
actually,
right,
your game day duties actually
It's awesome.
play
I
into
have to drink.
Yes, play into tailgating.
But what I'm saying is because you did get to come hang out with Megan and Joey. Are you going to get to come
I've got
hang out at
TV.
all this?
I've
right?
got TV at 9, so I can do before.
Okay, early morning. Hell yeah.
Before. I mean, I'll be out there before. So
Get a little sauce, egg, and cheese biscuit with some beers. Yeah, that sounds
Beers.
tasty.
I can't have those because I got live TV. But here nor there, I'll be there.
One or two never.
I'll be there.
Hurt take the edge off for a little
the
live
pancake
TV.
breakfast. We do it every month. Okay.
I can't wait.
Ron will be there.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we can bring a little 07 magic to this LSU Florida game. We will see. Coming back, wrapping up hour 2. Hour 3, kicking off with Nick Underhill. 19 most interesting numbers, college football week 6. Talking NFL. Keep it locked on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to the App Store and download the DraftKings app. Last night, you could have had great opportunity to win a lot of money. Showdown captain mode. And, if you had Andrews at tight end, if you had Lamar, if you had Hollywood at receiver, if you had Jonathan Taylor in your backfield, you probably did pretty well last night. But don't forget, you can do this every single day. You've got playoff baseball, which you can do. You've got international soccer. You've got Thursday night NFL game. You got the college slate, NFL slate on the weekend. Every single day, you have a chance to win a lot of money, T.
That's right. So go to DraftKings today and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Promo code Baton Rouge. And you will be entered for free chances to win millions of dollars worth of cash prizes. Once again, that is DraftKings promo code Baton Rouge Daily Fantasy. Soon enough, Daily Sportsbook, a sportsbook as well. DraftKings, experience the sweat.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can. Understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to LA.
Coming up on a Tuesday edition of Early Line, we start looking ahead to the weekend's action and go out to Las Vegas to talk to Rafael Esparza of DocSports.com. Plus, we get some playoff picks in Major League Baseball with Tyler Moody. Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Drinking them neat. Mezcal. It's a hell of a drink, folks. I love it. If you like anything kind of smoky tasting, and a lot of times smoky and peaty can be used interchangeably. I don't really care. I don't have a super advanced palate. It just tastes like a smoky tequila, and it's delicious. And I love just drinking mezcal neat. It's worth checking out if you're looking for a good little nightcap sort of drink. But you don't have to drink like 5 doubles before you start a post-game show. That is not required.
I've heard that.
And probably not the best idea.
Heard that.
Probably not something that I will do again. But it was fun. It was fun. You know, if I try to comfort myself, and of course, we're talking about being maybe a little too inebriated on whiskey and wine Saturday night. I try to comfort myself by just saying that I was just representative of how a lot of LSU fans were feeling.
Yeah.
After last night, right? I made the same mistake that people for generations have made, which is looking for comfort at the bottom of a cup. And a lot of times there's just no comfort to be had. Although I did kind of feel better. I mean, I did kind of feel better about it. I felt horrible Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think you came in Monday and you're like, I'm at the point where it's a 2-day.
Yeah.
2-day deal now.
That's the 32-year-old thing, I guess. Yeah. Also, the massive amounts of tobacco consumption probably didn't help. Maybe just keep it to 1 cigar.
Well, what's the percentage chance that you tackle Moscona at some point during whiskey and wine? I sent a picture to the group where you're like, shut your mouth.
I literally, what movie is that from? 'Cause that's what I was channeling.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, when he said, and he literally like puts his fingers on the lips. I had to get him to be quiet because I wanted to make some sort of point. I don't know, man. It was It was fun. I guess it's better than having a post-game show where you can't drink. So, all right, coming up next hour, we're going to start with Nick Underhill, New Orleans football. Of course, as much as we are lamenting this LSU team, I'm very intrigued to see if this New Orleans Saints team can maybe become something special down the stretch here, right? 3-2 through this first 5. You go into the bye week now. You got all your weapons returning, hopefully sooner rather than later. And it's like, okay, all of a sudden, can you make a little noise? And can you carry us through these dark times into the new year? And we'll talk with Nick Underhill about just that. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to RejuveMeMedical.com, RejuveMeMedical.com. Whether you are in Baton Rouge or let's say you're in Denham Springs or Metairie, there are Rejuve Me Medical locations for you. And if you want to get back to how you used to feel, right? Maybe you don't want the 2-day hangover thing anymore. You want to hit the ground running in the morning, hit the bed running at night. Well, they got you, man. I don't give you 20, 30, 40, 50. They understand the aging process, and they customize comprehensive plans for you and what your body needs. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com today.
Yeah, we always give you a full list of services over at Rejuve Me because there's so many different things that they can help you out with. T-Bob mentioned a couple, but if you can't sleep, maybe you've got mood and memory problems, maybe you're gaining weight and you can't explain it. Like, those are things that they can help you with. Don't forget cosmetic injectables as well. They literally do it all over at Rejuve Me Medical. Check them out, RejuveMeMedical.com, 225-230-4201.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everybody. It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, October 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 82. Coming up on OTB, Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show up next to talk Saints. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to our YouTube channel for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. OTB, OT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, weekly New Orleans Saints updates with Nick Underhill on OTB are brought to you by former LSU Tiger and attorney Chris Perrette.
Yo. Welcome back to Off the Bench. Is that okay, Danny? I apologize. OTB, hour number 3. Once again, we're in the third hour show. There's no Stranger Things intro.
Oh, my.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do at this point, but, that's just...
So worried about looking cool in his new glasses.
Yeah. You give a kid a pair of blue light glasses and you just kind of, you don't even recognize him anymore, both internally and externally.
Weird.
Glasses now.
It doesn't look the same.
Let's go to one of my favorite people in this business, and that is our guy, Nick Underhill, New Orleans Football. You already know I am a evangelist for New Orleans Football. I firmly believe in the product. It's only a few bucks a month, and it is the best Saints coverage that you can get. And what I love, it is created by Nick, right? So when you give the money, you're not giving it to any like corporate overlords and Nick's being screwed over or anything. No, you are supporting the work directly, which you can feel really good about. New Orleans Football, the best Saints coverage. Go sign up today. Nick, what's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing well. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's dive into this. Very broad question, but I was texting you about this. To me, everything viewed on balance, it is wildly successful what Sean Payton has done with this year's team, being in the first post-Breeze year with all of these insane injuries and a schedule that, not the hardest, but also not the friendliest early on. It is insane to me that these Saints are sitting here at 3-2 going into the bye week.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive, and I mean they should be 4-1. Sean probably coached them out of one of those wins, just kind of with the approach. I think it's interesting though. Without the approach against the Giants and things kind of imploding, I'm not sure we see the end of the Washington game the same way, where they kind of, tried to put their foot on their neck and go for it. I think Peyton needed to see that film, and that led to the adjustment the next week, maybe a little more leeway with Jameis Winston there. But to be 3-2 and you're without, Drew Brees, how many teams just go into the next year without the solid succession plan, the Aaron Rodgers type succession plan? A lot of teams don't lose their Hall of Fame quarterback and look like a team that's destined to be, a playoff contender. They're without Mike Thomas, Teron Armstead, David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Eric McCoy, Traquan Smith, Will Lutz, Quan Alexander, Nick Van Ness, Tony Jones Jr. I mean, to be without all those guys, to be 3-2, should be 4-1 is a pretty impressive start to the season. And there's been some surviving and dance. They aren't going to win a ton of style points for how they're doing it. But the main point is right now they're doing it, and you look at the list, and they should be able to get a lot better coming out of this bye when they start getting players back.
So, Nick, right now up on New Orleans Football, you have an excellent piece that went up about 12 hours ago, Saints Film Room, how Marshawn Lattimore shut down Terry McLaurin, one of the NFL's best receivers. Can you give our listeners a little taste of that? Like what did Marshawn do to look like, well, you tweeted during the game, like when he plays like that, he looks like arguably the best cover corner in the game.
I mean, he just put the clamps on him. I mean, that's it. He was just lined up against him. He gave up 2 catches early in the game. And after that, it was just nothing. And when he covers like that, it's unbelievable to watch. I mean, it's I don't want to sound like super corny, but it's borderline breathtaking just to be able to watch a guy shadow another player the way he does and just to mirror the movements and just kind of suffocate him on everything he does. And man, the way he was able to get his hand on the ball and just knock it away 6 times. He forced the 7th incompletion by pushing him out of bounds. Just to normally in those type of matchups when someone's covering that well, you don't see the ball go that direction that many times. Usually the quarterback says, well, all right, I tried this a few times and I'm not going back to it. The fact that Heineke just kept targeting him and keep trying, you continued to be able to see that matchup, and it brought it into focus, and it allowed Marshawn to keep making plays. And that was one of the better performances I can remember seeing in quite a while, just based off of that, just how many times he was tried and he succeeded. But when he plays like that, it's unbelievable. And he's been that guy more often than not this year. There was the big defensive letdown against, the Giants. And, that was kind of the one game where he didn't play well. But otherwise, he's been that guy every single week. And I think you're going to keep seeing it. And it's good to keep seeing it after he got paid, because I think it was fair to have that concern for a guy that wasn't necessarily always locked in every single week. Hey, what's going to happen after the paycheck comes? Right now, the paycheck's come, and he's playing exactly the way they want him to play. I think there's a case to be made that this season he is the NFL's best cornerback. He's in the top 2 or 3 at least for sure every single week. It's not in these matchups he is, in these ones he isn't. Every week he's looked like that guy. I think that's going to bode well for this team going forward. And it's one of the reasons that they've been able to overcome having the most anemic pass rush possible, and they're still winning games.
Hey, I want to ask you about another Ohio State Buckeye on this team. That's Pete Warner. Back-to-back games, he's had double-digit tackle games. Looks like he's really coming into his own. What can we expect his role to be? And when Quan Alexander comes back, does his playing time go away, or do you think he's earned to stay on the field?
It's going to be extremely interesting to see what they do, because you could have a Paulson Adebo type situation where if the rookie's playing well, you don't want to take the rookie off the field. I mean, that's the best outcome. Who cares what you have invested in the other guy? Let him be depth and roll forward and let your young player develop, because he's going to be the foundation. It's going to be interesting, though, to see if they do that the same way with Pete Werner. They really like Quan Alexander. They like the energy and just that, in those intangibles that he brings to the field, and people kind of feed off it a little bit. But I think there's a case to be made that Pete Werner is a little bit more of a sound player, especially against the run. He plays his gaps well. You see his vision. He's in the right place at the right time. Quan's more explosive. I think maybe he gives you a little bit more in the passing game. So maybe there's a way to kind of marry those two things and have Werner on the field, first down, second and short, and then if it's second and long, maybe Quan goes in, third down, Quan's in there, and you just find a way to let both those guys coexist. But if Werner keeps playing well, you got to find a way to get him snaps if you do want to have Quan back on the field. So it's going to be really interesting, especially if Werner continues to get better. Like, what do you do then? How do you put these guys on the field, and where do they fit in? I think it'll probably end up being a blend of the two, because I think you can protect Quan from some of the things that he doesn't do well and still get Werner the experience without rattling his confidence or putting him behind anybody. So that's my guess going forward. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that sorts out, because that's a good problem though. I mean, and that, I think it was kind of expected when they signed Alexander. It wasn't necessarily a sign that I felt like they had to make. I thought they had, depth there. They drafted, and I kind of thought they were going to go forward with the younger guys, and they build a strength on a strength, and now they got to figure out how to get everyone on the field.
Yeah, I guess not the worst problem to have for sure. Talking to Nick Underhill, NewOrleans.football, Nick_Underhill. Nick, I want to direct you to a tweet from our old friend, Jameis 1 of 1. The John the Baptist for Jameis, because this is pretty shocking. And I guess my question is kind of, what is the true Jameis that you're seeing this year? Jake, listen to this. Right now, Jameis Winston, number 1 in the NFL in touchdown percentage, right? So percentage of those are gone for touchdowns. Number 6 in passer rating. Number 7 in total QBR. Number 7 in raw QBR. And is on pace, technically, for 44 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. But as you sit here this Sunday, it seems like the majority of Jameis Winston talk that I see around the Saints is that he's bad. So, make sense of it for me, Nick.
I think just, saying those numbers is a good example of why you need film to go along with numbers and just numbers if they don't really have context. I mean, look, I think he's being extremely efficient, and And, he's staying out of mistakes. You look at his 3 interceptions, one, Andrew Speed standing on his ankle, the other one's a Hail Mary, and then the other one's like a end-of-half situation, so, I mean, it's nothing too bad so far. And I think more often than not, his decisions have been good. So that's good. I think, too, you got to look at how they're moving the ball and what's not there. I mean, I think if you look at this offense, it's extremely clear what they can't do. And they don't have the quick game. They don't have the intermediate stuff. There's nobody getting open quickly. And those high percentage passes, the quick slant to Mike Thomas, they aren't there. They tried 2 slants last week, and they both got dropped, or the receiver got bullied out of the route. And that's a tough way to survive. So I think when those things come back, his efficiency will get better, and you'll see, some more high percentage plays, and it'll open things up. And I think that'll become a little bit easier. And then, in this game, 50% passing. And I think there's a lot of things he could have done better in this game. So this isn't, the defense of Jameis Winston, but you start going through it. There's a stretch where he had 1 completion and I don't know what it was, 10 or 11 attempts.
Yeah.
But 3 of those you're buried. Yeah, 3 of those you're buried in the end zone, and he's trying to throw his way out of there. It almost gets sacked on first down. Second down, it's just a bomb up the sideline because nobody's open. Third down, tries a back shoulder throw to Marquez Callaway. Callaway kind of gets bullied out of it a little bit. It was a tough play to make, but maybe Mike Thomas makes that play. There's a screen where Adam Troutman misses a block, and the screen gets blown up before it can even get to Alvin Kamara. There's a drop pass by Kamara on a wheel route. So, I mean, there's a lot of things happening on this offense that aren't helping Winston. I think there's instances where Winston's not, performing as well as he could, and there's room for growth. So I think you need to get everybody back out there, and there'll be a balance. But I think we've seen more good from Jameis than bad at this point. And, again, you go back to that list of players. You're without your top 2 receivers. You're without your 2 of your 3 best offensive linemen. Backup running backs gone. I mean, the tight end, I think Nick Van Ness suddenly is an important part of this offense where, as before it was, an afterthought. But you look at what they have at tight end, and there's a talent drain there, and they aren't really getting the production that they need to out of that position. So I think he matters now as well. Maybe him coming back, blocking a little more. Maybe Troutman can get a little bit more involved in the passing game. I'm not holding my breath on that. But, there's just a lot of pieces missing. And I think when they're all back, we'll kind of get a better idea of what Jameis is. But right now, I think it's very much jury's still out. But I just don't think he's going to sink their season. It feels like he's been staying out of trouble pretty well. We don't know if he can carry him to a victory yet. We do know that he can lose him a game. I mean, it happened kind of in Carolina. But, more often than not, I think he's going to stay out of trouble, be able to manage it. And, maybe once everybody comes back, he thrives a little bit better, or he becomes, a little bit better of a game manager. But it's very much on the defense. And I don't think Jameis is going to sink their season.
Nick, okay, a couple just quick fire ones here. What do we know anything about the status of Deontay Harris?
So right after the game, I heard that there was a little bit of optimism that it wasn't going to be a horrible thing. Waiting for an update, you got to go get scanned. So sometimes the optimism turns into pessimism. But the fact that they were optimistic right away is a good thing.
Any news on the Will Lutz return, as they can't make field goals? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a shot after the bye. He was, getting to a point where it was week to week, getting better. And I think that there's, some hope that it will happen after the bye. It's oddly maybe the most important person missing on that list of players behind Mike Thomas because, they can't make a field goal and they can't seem to find anybody on the street that can make a field goal. And that makes sense because it doesn't seem like anybody in the NFL can make a field goal right now.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. It's kind of a symptom, a league-wide symptom at this point. Okay, last one here, Nick. I know I'm going long. Was there anything that you saw in your game rewatch that is maybe responsible for the uptick from one week to the next of Kamara getting involved in the receiving game? Was it just like they had to go through a week of him not being in it, so they had to force it? Like why no success last week and then all the success in the world this week?
A couple things. I mean, I think they just called more plays for him, and that was something that worked out well for him. The other thing is that I think they were forced out of the running game. They used a 5-man front, Washington did, and just kind of running into that wasn't going to work for him. So they just had to find other ways to manufacture offense, get the ball into his hands, and I think that was just kind of using the passing game a little bit as an extension of the running game, which they hadn't done the week before. because they were getting 8-yard runs out of him, and it was, it was working. So when it didn't work, necessity forced it to change it, and they got the ball in his hands. I don't think it's going to be an issue all year where Alvin's not going to catch passes. He just might not get to, the usual 81 or 83, but if he doesn't, it'll be because he's carrying the ball more.
Nick Underhill at NewOrleans.football. Again, I cannot tell you enough how much I love that site, NewOrleans.football. Sign up today. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you get pods, you get articles, you get all of it. All right. Coming up next here on OTB, 19 most interesting numbers from college football, Week 6. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
OTB, OT.
Go to DonaldSonGlassandBody.com, DonaldSonGlassandBody.com. You know we love our friends over there at Devil. I've been going there for a while, y'all. In fact, people have been going there since 1977, Jake. And have you ever seen a picture of how they began? It was just like a small little garage. I think they were just doing glass repair, and now it's a complex, right? And it is very organized, and they got a ton of cars rolling through there, and they do everything: glass, windows, that's the same thing. Tires, wheels, brakes, oil changes, like anything and everything. A one-stop car shop. If you're just trying to keep your car healthy, you get in an accident, you know where to go. You want to go to Donaldson Glass and Body.
DGBauto.com is the site. They are your one-stop shop. It doesn't really matter what you've got going on. They're going to fix it, and they're going to fix it the first time. You're not going to have to continue to bring your vehicle in and try to get it worked on because they're going to do it right the first time. DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com, DGBauto.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Sean Salisbury joins the show. We'll talk Saints with Larry Holder, and Feinswag talks beer. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Oh my God. I'm not going to read this on air, but Keaton, that I do not think that is how John Gruden got in trouble. Basically saying that Carl Nassib was going through Gruden's emails instead of playing better. I don't think so. I think it was the fact that NFL executives were going through 650,000 Washington football team emails. Bro, how miserable of a job would it be to have to sit there and comb through 650,000 emails? That sounds like my hell. I hate checking my email.
How many do you have on your phone currently?
Oh, boy. It's going to trigger some people. Right now, it looks like I have 1,043 unchecked emails. I have 265 voicemails.
What?
And I have 138 unchecked text messages. So I got a lot of those little red symbols all over my home screen.
You got bad chills.
I know there's like
the emails, those can pile up during the day. I get it. The text, no excuse. The voicemail, certainly no excuse.
A lot of people saying, well, you can just Control F search all of that. I guess it's that's even funny to think about though. The person who has to sit there and be like, what's like the most racist term, or like what's like the most misogynistic term I can type in here to try to see if they said something. It's the whole situation's a little weird. Not as weird as the situation that we just mathed out in the break, where we learned today, very Halloween appropriate, that Jake grew up next to a serial killer, right?
Yeah.
That serial killer not only committed murders in Florida, but a triple homicide in Shreveport. And there is some reality out there where very tragically a young Jake Hester gets murdered by this guy.
Oh, Lord.
In that reality, LSU never wins the national championship in 2007. Likely, the Miles era flames out. Likely, the golden era of LSU football never really comes about. Likely, then there's no 2019 national championship. Mario made a great point. Bobby Petrino probably becomes the coach in 2008. Motorcycle accident happens in Baton Rouge
in
instead.
05, so why would he come in 08?
Situations are just different, right? I mean, he took the Arkansas job around that time.
Butterfly effect, yeah.
So then he becomes the LSU coach. Motorcycle incident happens here. The bottom line, there's an alternate reality where that guy murders a young Jacob Hester and Sam Pittman is the LSU head coach right now. Whoa. That's crazy.
How'd you get to Sam Pittman?
Because I went through, like, I just basically, I mean, that is maybe where I got lazy in my butterfly effect. I just took Arkansas and just copy pasted it to LSU, which admittedly is my fault. It probably gets even weirder if you really wanted to butterfly effect this thing out. I mean, Matt Flynn's probably a failed quarterback at that point. He ends up losing himself in the bottle after his career never happens. He always has this feeling of like a missing void, but he never quite knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Little did he know it was his murdered best friend from another dimension. Unbelievable, dude. Crazy.
I wish we had the Rick and Morty portal gun. We could actually go to the universe and see all this.
To see what it's like. And I've the ramifications could be made. Well, I'm glad it didn't happen, Jake.
Thank you.
Just know that.
I appreciate that.
Who do you get murdered by your serial killer?
Like, I don't really know. Like, who would be in this chair? Would it be like OTB with T-Bob and Hunt
in the chair? Okay,
because Hunt's like our middle relief guy.
Yes,
anytime something happens and we need a fix, we need somebody to come in and give us some quality innings. It's typically Hunt.
Or like, is there anybody that you were recruited against, or maybe y'all were competing for that same spot at LSU? Or, I mean, does this him with like Charles Scott or Keelan Williams maybe in that chair?
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You don't win 0-7 though. I do feel confident saying that. You don't win. Yeah, Matt Flynn probably goes to Texas in that reality or something.
He was in Oklahoma, more in Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
That's where he was probably going to transfer, I think, if Jamarcus would have come back for another year.
That is the perfect there's another butterfly effect, right? Well, that is the perfect way to kind of transition into the most interesting numbers from this week's college football. Chris Vanini, it's my favorite article on theathletic.com. And with the Alabama loss and the insane Oklahoma comeback, which, by the way, a few stats from that game. Oklahoma allowed the most first quarter points it's ever allowed. That was the highest scoring game in the Red River Showdown history. I guess that's what it's actually called now, Red River Showdown. Remember, it was 28-7 after one quarter. Yep. They were losing. The previous largest comeback in the series for Oklahoma was 11 points. So it's a wild game. Oklahoma comes back in insane fashion. What it means now is an Oklahoma team that none of us believe in, right? Nobody believes this Oklahoma team. They have the nation's longest winning streak. They've won 14 games in a row.
Yes, and
Alabama
they had
had their
two back-to-back
19
losses, and then they've rolled off this many in a row. You're undefeated, and you deserve credit for figuring out a way to win games. Now, I don't think you're a good football team. I should say I don't think you're a great football team. You might be a good football team. I don't think Oklahoma finishes this year undefeated. I think Caleb Williams might throw a different variant in there because Spencer Rattler was really struggling.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Caleb Williams.
So maybe he was the key. Because we know if you're not good at that position, you're not going to have a lot of team success. So credit them. You're right. I mean, I almost was going to turn that game off. This game's over. Texas is dominating.
Oh, bro, I was already counting my win gambling-wise. I was like, that's a dub. Let's roll. Nope. That and Ole Miss. I thought we're going to hit, and then they just they just refused to. Okay, so we all know this season's been insane with ranked teams losing. And, Mario, you can just crank up some maybe music, whatever. But 40 ranked teams have now lost through 6 weeks. That continued last week. You had 6 more ranked teams lose. Starting to take on a very 2007 sort of feel.
Oh, without question.
All you need now is a Georgia loss. Like, give me a Georgia loss to Kentucky or Florida, and the 07, I mean, it's back on.
Yep.
It's completely back
and
on.
I'm here for it. Like, I love the fact that we've got all these crazy, wild, upset games and teams that we're not used to seeing, like Iowa and Cincinnati are in the top 3.
Okay, so speaking of Iowa, they're on this list again this week. Iowa has 10 interceptions its past 2 games. That ties with 2001 Miami for the second most in a 2-game span in the last 25 years. Mississippi State 02 had 11 in 2 games. But right now, Iowa, bro, has won 6 consecutive games against ranked opponents. They've not done that since the 60s. Also, you want to talk about little home field advantage? 8 false starts for Penn State due to having to play in Iowa. Get kirked. That's what I like to say now. Kirk for him.
You like to say that?
Yeah, get kirked. My dog.
Yeah. I think Iowa is built for the long haul. I realize the brand of football they play, and I'm probably a little too biased here. I love it. Did you see that fullback? Did you see the neck roll he had? That some gun was up by his ears.
Yeah, it's
who doesn't love that?
It's like Jason Kidd's collar, but like as a neck roll.
Yes.
It just you need somebody to keep photoshopping the neck roll bigger and bigger and bigger. He's pushing the limits.
He's pushing the limits, but the limit.
Look at that thing, dude.
God, that's so
He's
beautiful.
pushing the limits of science at this point. Like
38 is not the best number.
They don't do they play in Des Moines or is that Iowa State?
That's
Iowa State, right?
No, they're Iowa City.
Yeah, they're not Des Moines. I was gonna say if they were Des Moines, it could be the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Nah, that doesn't really work either. Never mind. But he does look like a hunchback. Number 5, Michigan State became the 5th team in FBS history.
What are we doing here?
How about this Michigan State offense, right? You always hear about the defense. 300-yard passer, 200-yard receiver, and a 200-yard rusher all in the same game. Michigan State for real, Jay?
I think they are as well because, again, what did our man Brandon Staley say about running the football?
Yeah.
And they can do it at an elite level, okay? So it sets everything else up. At the end of the day, you can do a lot of great things through the air, but you have to have a running game, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, to win a championship.
Kenneth Walker is their running back. He's an absolute monster. Went for 233. Hit a 94-yard touchdown. How about this? 4 plays of 60 yards or more in that one game. That equals the total at Michigan State in the past 3 years combined. Here's one for the Kentucky fans out there. Kentucky's 6-0 for the first time in 71 years. 21-point win was the second largest ever against the Tigers, only behind the 1999 game. Again, nobody ever likes to hear 90s mentioned with LSU. It's always kind of bad when it rears its ugly head again, so there it is. Number 8 on this list, Wake Forest. So not to be outdone, Wake Forest 6-0 for the first time in 77 years. How about it?
Yeah, they had a close one with Syracuse last week, and I heard the Outfather kind of making fun of them because Syracuse ran all over them, even though Wake got the win. Syracuse actually has a really nice rushing attack, and that's really the only thing that they can do. And a team like Wake typically doesn't find a way to win a football game like that, but they found a way. Wake is atop the ACC standings right now. Now they've got NC State and Clemson left on their schedule, but right now they're the only undefeated team in the conference, and so do I think it's going to end with them in Charlotte at the ACC championship game? I don't. I actually think NC State gets that role because they have a game up on Clemson and they still get to play Wake Forest. But credit to them, man.
Yeah, so 1944, bro.
Yeah.
Was the last time they were 6-0. So enjoy it, Demon Deacon fans. The Georgia-Auburn series is at risk of taking on a little Alabama-Tennessee flavor. Speaking of things that have not been done since the 40s, Georgia has defeated Auburn 5 consecutive times for the first time since World War II, 44 through 48. More importantly, Georgia's now won 14 of these last 17.
Oh, wow.
And Auburn's been good, but that's bad. That is LSU, Mississippi State levels almost. Not anymore, right? Now it's 5-3, but still, that feels that should not be the case with how good Auburn's been in those 17 years.
No, I completely agree with you, and it's that number's big. That's something surprising to me. I wouldn't have guessed that it was that big because there's been some down Georgia years in there as well. Can I say, like, this kind of sparked me thinking about this over the weekend and like experiencing something different in the SEC, like going to Kentucky. They got to change that. They have to change it because of the teams that you have to play and the other teams don't have to play, and all those reasons, but also go experience the entire conference.
Yeah.
14 years? You're going to go 14 years, 3 full recruiting classes, and you're not going to play a team within your own conference at their place?
I mean, bro,
like I have yet to be at South Carolina. Yeah, it's what I mean, you were on the team. I was on the team. What are we doing? I still have not been to South Carolina. I haven't been to South Carolina because, like, we didn't play them when I was here.
It was tight.
And they had a game that got moved because of a flooding. I think it was flooding in South Carolina, and so it was on the schedule. But, like, there's just some of these trips that you're talking about. We still would not have played at Mizzou if the Hurricane didn't move that game last year. It would have been 2 more years, I believe, 2023. They've been in the conference for over a decade. Like, what are we doing? That's fixed.
Yeah, when I went to South Carolina, the ref helped us out and just straight up tackled Steven Garcia. It's like, nah, bro, right before half, desperately needed a touchdown, would have changed the entire complexion of the game. The ref had our back. Shout out, dude. What a great play. All right, when we get back here, maybe get to a couple more of these. We'll see. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.
OTB, OT.
Go to GEAUXroof.com. Let's go roof.com. 927-8300 is the number. Any roofing issues that you have, you already know why you want to go to Go Roof. The reasons are a few. First off, free professional estimate. Talk about every day. Why wouldn't you want that, right? Have somebody come out to your home, let you know exactly where you stand. You make a fully informed decision. All the same things we talk about every single day. So if it's a big problem, small problem, it doesn't matter. You learn what the problem is, and then you make the decision about what to do next. When the work begins, licensed, bonded, and insured. When the work ends, a 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. Okay, so what you're seeing and these advantages that Go Roof offers you is you're seeing a philosophy start to kind of form, right? And the philosophy is not about maximizing profit or anything like that. The philosophy is just about making sure that the community's roofing needs are taken care of. So Call them up, 927-8300. They answer the phone, hit them with the roof's up. And then when you work or go roof, you will see you get a beautiful new roof every shingle time.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are now open for business and are ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing off I-10 in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crews at Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Vizzy Lemonade, the only lemonade hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy Lemonade. Step up your seltzer game.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law.
It's week 7 in the prep football season, and we get you started Friday night with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And then starting at 10 o'clock, it's a full 2 hours of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, CST, and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
2021 has come with its fair share of challenges, but 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust want to make things a little easier on your budget by making your groceries for an entire year a $4,800 value. And even if you don't win the grand prize, we're awarding second chance prizes of $150 gift cards to High Neighbor Supermarkets. It's the free groceries for a year sweepstakes powered by Citizens Bank and Trust, High Neighbor, and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Register now at 1045ESPN.com.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. T-Bob, Jake, Mario, and Danny hanging out with you today. Talk about Jacob's killer neighbor, inspiring scream. Talk about Larry Coker. Talk about Stetson Bennett. Does it matter who plays quarterback? Like, will the Stetson Bennett bite them in the end, do you think?
They got to get whoever is going to be their quarterback on the field, if it's going to be JT Daniels, and Kirby kind of hinted like it's a pain management thing.
Oh, that sounds like the coach being like,
hey, say, bruh.
Yeah. Pain management is something that is frowned upon. Look, you can come to your own opinion if you think it's right or wrong, right? But it is frowned upon in the locker room, right? I mean, if you can like physically play and it's just pain that is holding you back, and there's ways to around that.
Hell, everything hurts when you're playing.
Yeah, you could call it like maybe toxic or bad. Maybe that's not the best place to be, but I do think that's honest. You used to like I don't know, man. Now this is certainly changing this for the better, but like we used to concussion shame the hell out of people. Like if they were like out for like a week for a concussion, you're like, bro, come on, dude, what are you doing? Like now we know way more, right? So it's way different. But like, yeah, it's
I don't remember anybody missing because of a concussion when I was playing.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, my old man has a crazy story where he got his 3 front teeth knocked out in a Bucs game, mega bad concussion, and they put in the backup quarterback. The quarterback gets hurt. He had to go back in the game and play again, and he was calling plays from high school. He was calling plays from his South Lafourche playbook, and one of the O-linemen was like, "Look, guys, I don't care if you have to hold and you get a penalty. He might die if he gets hit again. So like we have to try to keep him upright." And then he was like throwing up on the team playing home and stuff because it's an old school NFL, man. I don't know about all that.
No, I mean we saw it last night in the game. They stopped the game and got a safety from the Colts out of the game because they saw something up in the booth that they wanted to check on. That was not a thing when I was playing either.
Yeah, and I will say this. I don't think the canon would respond too kindly to pain management either. But who knows? Maybe it's irrelevant for Georgia because here's another crazy Georgia stat. They've allowed 33 points through 6 games.
Yeah, not like per game, like through
6 games.
6 games.
And that is the lowest. And check this out. That includes a pick 6, which is not on the defense. That's the lowest since 1935 when the Georgia defense allowed just 24 points in an era when the forward pass existed. Maybe not. Like I'm not even sure. Yeah, wild. Here's a wild stat. Mac Brown's 0-8 against Florida State. Mac Brown cannot beat Florida State. Also, was there more overrated? I mean, LSU overrated, right? Obviously. Was there more overrated team than North Carolina?
Nope.
In all of college football.
And I'll take a lot of that blame. I was Sam Howell. They got some guys coming in. They'll be great. They got to transfer to replace the running backs they lost. Oof, that's a bad team.
Jake, how do you feel about our guy, Heupel?
Look pretty good.
Bro, we've clowned him a lot.
A lot.
But my man's Tennessee has now scored on 11 consecutive first-half drives over the past 2 games. That includes 6 touchdowns in the field goal against Missouri, 4 touchdowns unanswered to open up the big win over South Carolina. They're outscoring opponents 101-13 this year in the first quarter. They have now scored 40 points against the FBS team twice this season in consecutive weeks. They did that twice in 3 years under Jeremy Pruitt, and they're the fastest plays per minute team in the entire nation. In Spaceballs, when they go to ludicrous speed and they go to plaid, basically, who's that actor? Rick Moranis. Josh Heupel is Rick Moranis. I just, like, the only thing that could have made these black uniforms better was if Heupel was in a giant Darth helmet costume and really bring the Halloween thing across the line. Because, they've gone plaid. Are they good? Or
Cole and I were doing SEC Today last week, and he said he thinks that Tennessee has the best chance to knock off Georgia in the regular season because of the matchup, not necessarily how he feels. And he said it'd be a long shot. He said anybody beating them in the regular season is a long shot.
Yes.
So he paraphrased it that way, but
no, I get that. Like Florida and Kentucky play into Georgia's hands a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is a team that wants to go fast, and they're running the football at an extremely high clip, and they play well enough on defense to keep it interesting. So, I mean, who would have ever thought we'd say that about Tennessee with the roster issues that they had just up and down I didn't know how many scholarship players they were going to have because they had 23 players in the transfer portal. 23.
And I don't want to call the gimmicky. I don't want to call the Heupel thing gimmicky because it is obviously above being just a gimmick. Like that's too dismissive of it. But it does seem like exactly what they needed. Even though I don't know how many wins it's going to result in this year, it seems like what they needed to get a little juice back with the program and get their fans a little excited. Okay, only a couple more here. Have you read about? I didn't realize this. What Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall is doing this year? He is on pace to smash the efficiency record. He's completing 80% of his passes for 13.6 yards per attempt. 13.
Check down Charlie.
What? Per attempt, y'all. That's not completion. An average of 14 yards basically every time he throws the ball. 14 touchdowns to 1 interception. It's a pass efficiency of 234, and the record right now is 230. FBS record 203 for Mac Jones. And the Chants, 18 wins in a row in the regular season. More like Grayson McGawsome.
I wish I had a boo sound effect right now.
You feel good about that one?
I actually do. I wrote it down at 5:30 this morning. So this is all pre-planned. That was not
Dude,
I thought that was great.
You liked the message at like 4:45 this morning. I was just kind of like stirring and half awake, like getting the coffee pot ready, and I'm like, what?
I sacrificed my pre-work nighttime last night to watch American Psycho, which meant I had to force myself to get up extra early today to get it in. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. So that's all that was. I mean, how are you doing with your little? What is this, the first time you've maybe been alone in a house in like 13 years? Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like how long has it been since you have had any time? For those who don't know, Jake is actually home alone for a day or two.
Yeah. I mean, staying up too late watching movies and TV.
Oh, yeah?
Went to the movies by myself yesterday. My favorite pastime. Haven't done that in a very, very long time.
What'd you see?
So it was good. The Sopranos prequel.
Oh, that's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a TV show this whole time.
No, it's a movie.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Oh, you probably love that.
Yeah, I'm a big Sopranos fan.
Was it so much fun?
Was it as good as Sopranos? No. Sopranos much better.
Yeah, I am I'm flirting. I'm going to wait till after Halloween. But I watched a clip of Sopranos the other day, and I was like, oh, my God, that looks amazing. And I know it is. Like everybody told me.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. I'm flirting with doing a full watch. So maybe we
Get
do
ready.
that for the off-season. We do some like off-season content with that or something.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited. It's also funny how that's kind of a show I grew up with, and now it looks so old. In terms of, like there's no cell phones, all just the style, just all that.
Kind of like The Wire. Same thing like when I go back and watch The Wire.
Yeah.
Just realizing how old it is.
I watched 2 seasons of, and then I never finished that, unfortunately. And it was because I disliked it or something. It just, I don't know what happened.
That happens sometimes. I watched every season of House of Cards and then just stopped like the final 2 seasons.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ooh, Spacey.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gruden. All right, when we get back, let's close out the show. Here, shout out to UMass. They won a football game for the first time in 742 days.
UConn?
UConn.
Does it count? Does it count?
That's if you watch that game, you are the real sicko. You are the ultimate bad, sick person for college football. All right, wrap it up the show next. Keep it locked.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to Louisiana811.com. We tell you all the time, it is the law in the state of Louisiana. If you're putting a shovel in the ground, it doesn't matter what it's for. It doesn't matter if you're putting in a new tree at your home, a new plant, a garden, anything, right? You have to dial 811 before you dig. This also goes for your place of business. Like if you're a business owner and you're doing anything to your business, you have to dial 811 before you dig, right? All right, so since it is the law and since it's something you have to do, it is a free service to you and they take out all the hassle. They are going to come out, all right? You give them a heads up. You call them a couple of business days ahead of time. They're going to come out in a couple of business days and they're going to clearly mark where you can and cannot dig. Because in Louisiana, we know some of those buried lines, they're not buried that deep, right? They are right at the surface, and you don't want to harm yourself or others, so they're trying to keep you safe. Again, Louisiana811.com. You can submit a ticket right there online or always pick up the phone and dial 811 before you dig.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. We'll be talking Saints as they enter their bye week and what things look like at Alec Box Stadium over the weekend. Noon to 2 weekdays, Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back to Off the Bench. I'm going to sneak in your house and ruin your toilets. A little spooky B&E during this Halloween season. And then what are you going to do? You're going to call Central Plumbing at 925-8552 for all of your plumbing needs. Go to centralplumbing.org. But right now, it's time for a little Ask the Bench. Brought to you by Cole Coors Light, Busy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus.
I didn't know where that was going. I had no idea. Shout out Central Plumbing, though, centralplumbing.org.
What if I broke into your house and the only thing I did was just dump in your toilet and
I
not flush it?
guarantee you there's someone out there that has done something like that.
Yeah, probably your neighbor. That's like definitely.
He probably
like,
had other things on his mind.
Well, I was gonna say, but that's like one of those things that you hear about people doing before it ends up that they kill people.
I might have to get old Joey on the line tomorrow to tell us about Danny.
Oh, bro, I would. I got so many questions.
Now, my dad and live radio. You got
have the dump button ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep, it's me, y'all. Wow, 2 days in a row, no Stranger Things intro, straight to the guillotine for Danny. Yep. Noogie says, send Danny to AFR hell. Yes, sorry, Danny, you have to work for AFR now.
Dude.
I don't
Poor
know. Poor
Danny.
And here we go. Daniel Basham nails it. Spooky season, more like poopy season for Central Plumbing. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the burglar, poopler. I don't know.
What?
I'm trying to come up with
trying to go like Hamburglar?
Yeah,
type,
yes.
situation?
I'm trying to come up with like a fecal pun that could also be my robber name. I'll think of one. And then everybody watch out. Lock your doors, lock your windows. I'm creeping. Trying to help my boys out at Central Plumbing by breaking all the toilets in the city. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
OTB, OT.
Go to osher.org, osher.org. Any orthopedic needs that you have. Again, here's a reason why the Saints and the Pelicans trust Osher. Here's a reason why the LHSAA is now partnered with Osher, as Osher is developing the latest medical guidelines through which to guide the LHSAA and keep kids safe throughout the state. Dr. Burnham travels with Southern, right? I mean, they got colleges throughout the state. Everybody trusts Osher. Why? Well, the reasons are many. First off, it's just a commitment to excellence that pervades the entire organization. So what that means is they invest in their facilities, right? They're always upgrading. They're bringing you the latest and greatest facilities. They combine that with the most talented doctors and physical therapists, and what that results in is you maximizing the health care that you are receiving. You're feeling a little sick, they got doc boxes peppered out the city. You get injured in sports, there's no question. You want to go to Osher. Go to osher.org today. That's osher.org.